Just about set to get going here at Veterans Fields. The Mariners facing the Chatham Anglers. We appreciate you joining us here on this beautiful Monday night here in Chatham. Wyatt Kopelman, Matt Skillings here with you. And without further ado, we bring you the starting lineups here for the Harwich Mariners at 11-8 on the season. Leading off, the second baseman out of UMass Lowell, number 36, Jacob Humphrey. Batting second, the right fielder out of Virginia, number 26, Casey Sauke. Batting third, the first baseman, number 30, Mason Guerra. Batting cleanup, the designated hitter out of Miami, number 35, Lorenzo Carrier. Batting fifth, number 7, the third baseman out of Old Dominion, Kenny Lavari. Batting sixth, the center fielder of Duke, number 24, Devin Obi. Batting seventh, the left fielder, number 10, Matt Scannell of Princeton of the Ivy League. Batting eighth, the catcher of Duke, number 14, Andrew Yu. And rounding out the starting nine, the newcomer, the shortstop out of Nebraska Omaha of the Summit League in number 32, Devin Hurdle. And Matt, certainly looking towards what Tim Noon has to do today. The Babson College product has yet to pick up a win or loss on the season. Only gave up one earned run last time, but first the Mariners are up to bat.
Yeah, Noon is he's made 3 starts so far this season, and you know he hasn't really gone past 5 innings in any of his games so far. I think only one. He's got to 6, and he does a good job. He locates his pitch as well. Coach Steve Engler loves it.
First pitch lined out towards center field, and it drops for a base hit. Humphrey has the game's first hit. First pitch dialing in at 7:02 p.m. Temperatures of 79 degrees, overcast skies, winds blowing north at 5 miles per hour, now blowing out to left field. It's a leadoff hit here against Jack Seppings out of Brown University of the Ivy League as he works out of the stretch for the first time here today. Harwich wearing its Road Navy uniforms. A leadoff single here for Jacob Humphrey on the first pitch, and that brings in Casey Sauke. Off to a dominant start this season out of Virginia. Sauke with a 2-game hitting streak as he fouls the first pitch back for strike number 1.
Yeah, that hit from Humphrey right there is exactly what you want if you're Harwich. Humphrey's been a killer on the base pass so far this year, even with his, lower batting average. He walks a lot, and when he's on base, he's lethal out there.
Just underway from Veterans Field, Harwich and Chatham meeting for the third time on the season. Humphrey with a leadoff single to center field. The 0-1 slammed foul down the right side. A hooking ball that time as it goes to 0-2. Sauke, the junior out of Rochester, New York, rising junior at Virginia. In his second game with the Mariners last night, his second 2-hit game on the season, went 2 for 5 as the Mariners lost narrowly 7-6. Jack Seppings through 2 years at Brown, 2-4, a 5.37 ERA as he tries a pickoff attempt back over at first. Humphrey diving in with the right hand in on time. Skies starting to clear here at Veterans Field. The Mariners falling 8-1 against the Chatham Anglers on Friday night. Just 4 hits in that game. The pitch taken high on a fastball. It goes to 1-2.
Gotta hope the fog doesn't roll in tonight. Obviously, we had a 30-minute fog delay on Saturday night.
Yeah, certainly felt like a little bit longer. The Mariners and the Anglers nonetheless battled through some thickening fog that only grew more swarming in the outfield, more blanketing, if you'd say. All right, throw back over at first, Humphrey in safely. None gone here in the top of the first. The Mariners with a leadoff base hit from Jacob Humphrey out of UMass Lowell. Casey Sauke, meanwhile, 1-2 here. Seppings taking his time. Now Humphrey takes off. The ball goes high. Throw it down to second on the bounce, and it's not in time. Jacob Humphrey with another stolen base here on the season. He's third in the Cape Cod Baseball League, now with his 8th on the season, and the Mariners have a runner in scoring position.
And he got a great jump on that, too. It was a great throw from the catcher, but, yeah, Humphrey got a great jump on that.
Count is 2-2 here to Casey Sauke, the right-hander out of Virginia, facing the right-hander in Jack Seppings. Now a runner on second, and nobody gone here. Sauke as the second batter, lofts it high into right field. Chasing over Milling Green as it bounces to the left of the chalk for a base hit. Humphrey into third base here as our runners on the corners. Still with nobody gone here, Casey Sauke moves his hitting streak to 3 games. And without further ado, we'll bring you the defensive alignment here for Chatham at 5-13-1 on the season. 5.5 games out of first place in the Cape Cod East standings. From left to right in the outfield, Trice, Etzel, and Miller Green. On the left side of the infield, Casarella at third, Fabian at short, Maldonado at second, and Kent at first on the right side. The battery mate here to Seppings is Hudson White. So now runners on the corners here. Still nobody away and no score. The first pitch missing low and away here to Mason Guerra out of Oregon State for ball number 1. Guerra has announced his arrival here in the lineup for Harwich this season, now on a 4-game hitting streak, Going into last night, he made it 5 with a hit in each of those 5 games here. Sepping still out of the stretch. The tall right-hander deals, and it goes high. It's 2-0 here to Guerra. So leadoff single to center field for Jacob Humphrey, followed by a single to right field here for Casey Sauke. The Mariners are certainly convincing right now with the hitting they've been able to get. Last night, the Mariners out-hit by the Harbor Hawks in Hyannis. Here's the pitch. Ground over towards the left side. Tough play for Fabian. He moves to his right, fires on the backhand over to first, and it won't be in time. An RBI infield single for Mason Guerra. And just like that, the Mariners take a 1-0 lead as the Beaverton, Oregon native extends his hitting streak to 6 games.
That's a great try by the shortstop Fabian over there. It's just tough when you have all your weight going the other way. Couldn't make that throw across the diamond. Good speed by Guerra to get there on time.
Couple of hops at least for the shortstop out of Florida in Derek Fabian, the younger brother of Judd Fabian. Now 2 on here, still with nobody gone for Lorenzo Carrier, the cleanup hitter out of Miami. Here's the first pitch. Chopped up into the middle infield, over to the left side. Fabian scoops the second for 1. The throw on to first, and it's in time. A 6-4-3 double play. Fabian to Maldonado over to Kent, but the runner in Sauke moves over to third. And just like that, there's a runner on third here for the Mariners as they still have a 1-0 lead.
Kenny Lavari's been pretty hot lately. It'd be great to see him pick up an RBI here.
So Kenny Lavari comes up, the third baseman out of Old Dominion, a run on 3 hits thus far for Harwich in the top of the first. Now 2 away quickly here as the left-hander of Old Dominion stands in. First pitch, a fastball missing high for ball number 1. 6-4-3 double play, moving Sauke. Pitch taken down the middle, and it goes to 1-1 here to Lavari. Mariners ahead 1-0 with 3 hits early on, a 6-4-3 double play. Again, the Chatham Anglers a little bit closer to only getting 1 here on the board for Jack Seppings. Pitch taken down the middle, it goes to 1-2 here.
That's a great spot from Seppings. He's hitting that outside corner very effectively in this at-bat.
Crowd has filed in here on Independence Weekend. It is certainly a near sellout crowd. 2-strike pitch taken on the inner half as it gets called looking. Lavari goes down on strikes for the first strikeout here for Jack Seppings out of Brown University. But nonetheless, the Mariners strike first with a run, a 6-4-3 double play and a strikeout, preventing them from further damage. It's 1-0 Mariners going into the bottom half of the first. You're listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.
This thing is broken.
Back in the bottom half of the first tier, the Chatham Anglers trailing the Harwich Mariners 1-0 after an RBI ground out from Mason Guerra. 0-2 here quickly to Matt Etzel. Bring you the starting 9 here for the Chatham Anglers. Leading off the center fielder, number 12, Matt Etzel. Second hole hitter in the shortstop, number 3, Derek Fabian. Pitch a swing and a miss. Already one strikeout here for the starter in Tim Noon out of Babson College, a Division III baseball. 3 pitches and 1 strikeout. The 3-hole hitter is the NC State left fielder in Carter Trice. He wears number 41. Batting cleanup, the designated hitter, number 35, Nolan Schubart. Batting 5th, the catcher, number 62, Hudson White. Batting 6th, Chris Maldonado, the second baseman. He wears number 2. The first pitch outside Derek Fabian for ball number 1. A 1-0 lead for the Mariners here in the bottom half of the first. Just missing the outer half, it's 2-0 here to Fabian. Batting 7th, the right fielder, number 13, Lyle Miller Green. Batting 8th, the first baseman, number 60, Caden Kent. Third baseman, number 22, Xavier Casarola, rounds out the starting 9 as it's quickly 3-0 with a slider low and away to Derek Fabian.
As crazy as it may seem, Tim Noon just doubled his season strikeout total. That was his second strikeout of the season.
3-ball pitch, a fastball that goes down the chute as it goes to 3-1. Mariners getting on the board first with an RBI ground out from Mason Guerra. Pitch missing low, and it goes to a 5-pitch walk here for Derek Fabian out of Florida. So now that'll force Noon to work out of the stretch here. The Mariners, a 6-4-3 double play and a strikeout looking to Kenny Lavari to close out the first. But 2 base hits from Jacob Humphrey, Casey Sauke, allowing for at least 1 run to score. So that brings up Carter Trice, the left fielder out of NC State. Here's the first pitch. Fastball missing high, goes to 1-0 here to Trice.
And Noon's just got to focus on hitting the zone here. 5 of the last 6 pitches have been balls.
Lofted high and deep out towards left field, going all the way back to the wall. Looking up, and it's going to be a catch at the wall. A catch made by Matt Scannell as we bring you the defensive alignment here for the Harwich Mariners at 11-8 on the season. Scannell, Obi, and Sauke from left to right in the outfield. On the infield corners, Lavari at third, Guerra on first. Hurdle at short, Humphrey on second. The battery mate here to Tim Noon out of Babson College tonight, Andrew Yu. Loud out number 2 here as Carter Trice flies out to left field. Nolan Schubart, meanwhile, digs in as the cleanup hitter here as the Mariners lead the Anglers 1-0 from Veterans Fields. 2 away, a runner on first here, and Derek Fabian, a strong lead off of first here. Noon, the southpaw, deals the first pitch foul tipped back into the netting for strike number 1.
Going back to that last play, that's a great play by Scannell out in left field to recognize where he was in terms of the wall, backing up to make that catch.
2 away, 1 on. The 0-1 just missing on the outer half. It goes to 1-1 here to Schubart. Noon has yet to get a win or a loss here on the season for the Mariners. Throw back over to first, not in time. He held the Bourne Braves to only 1 earned run on 5 hits in his 4-inning start in the Mariners' 5-3 road loss against Bourne. 1-1 on the way. Lofted into left center field, and it's through for a base hit. That'll force Fabian to stop at second, not deep enough for him to advance 2 bases. As there are runners on first and second here, and the Anglers certainly working their way in with their lineup here in the bottom of the first. So Noon working out of the stretch, looking for his first win on the season after going 6-2 at Babson this season. Now looks to work out of a mini jam here as the Mariners lead the Chatham Anglers 1-0 here in the bottom half of the first inning from Veterans Field. The floodlights starting to come on. The first pitch watched at low and away here to Hudson White, the catcher. Ball number 1 here. Fabian on second, Schubart on first. A 1-out walk and a 2-out single to left field, giving the Anglers a chance here with the wind blowing out to left field. The 1-0 from Noon. A slider goes outside. It goes to 2-0.
He seems to be pitching that outside corner here to Schubart or to Hudson White. Can't seem to find it just yet, but.
Well, we've seen the fastball and the slider thus far from Noon. 2-0. Skied foul towards the right side, giving Chase Guerra. The Oregon State product leaps at the netting, and he won't be able to make the catches. There's about 2 shelves too high, and the count is out 2-1 here to Hudson White. Mariners last night losing 7-6 to Hyannis. They have only won 2 of their last 5 games coming into Veterans Field. One of those losses, 8-1 here against the Anglers. The 2-1 pitch, taken for a strike low on a changeup. It goes to 2-2. Sun has creeped out of the clouds here at Veterans Field. Overcast skies just before first pitch. Some menacing clouds as well. Noon still out of the stretch to 2-2. Check swing and a fastball runs low. It goes to 3-2. So Noon has had a battle back out of counts thus far, but he has done so relatively efficiently thus far.
Runners will be off here on the pitch.
And the payoff pitch. Served out towards right center field, moving over to his left. Obi, he makes the catch for the final out of the first inning. So Tim Noon gets out of a mini jam without any damage against him after allowing a 1-out walk and a 2-out single. The Mariners force the Anglers quiet here in the bottom half of the first. Anglers bring 5 to the plate. They score no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and leave 2 stranded. 1-0 Harwich going into the second inning here from Veterans Field. We'll be back here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. One to nothing, Mariners lead over the Anglers in their second trip to Veterans Field here on the season. Devin Obi, Matt Scannell, Andrew Udo up for the first time here against Jack Seppings of Brown University. He winds and deals the first pitch. Obi swings and misses a foul tip for strike number 1 here.
And Obi's been eating up lately. He just first home run of the season last night at Hyannis. Good to see him get a couple more hits today.
Obi now with a 7-game on-base streak, the longest on the Mariners this season. He looks to get on here in the leadoff situation. Here's the pitch. Tapped foul behind home plate. It's quickly 0-2 here to the Duke product. He was part of a Duke team that actually faced Virginia in the Super Regional this past season, the Charlottesville Super Regional. Charlottesville, Virginia, one of the 8 Super Regional national host sites. So it was certainly interesting to have him here on the roster, not only with Andrew Yu, but also Casey Sauke just got in from Virginia. The 0-2, a swing and a miss. Seppings picks up his second strikeout of the day. It's his first swinging, as there's 1 gone here to start the second. A 6-4-3 double play and a strikeout looking closed out the first side before the Mariners were able to scratch on any more runs. They got a run on 2 hits, and they left nobody on base after an RBI ground out that gave the Mariners their early lead as Matt Scannell comes up here for the first time today. A 1-0 lead for the Mariners here in their second trip to Veterans Field, top of the second. The first pitch, a fastball that backs Scannell off the plate for ball number 1. You mentioned Obi getting his first home run last night. Scannell getting his first home run 3 weeks ago at Red Wilson Field against the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox. The Mariners lost that one by a run as well. Here's the pitch. Slider misses high. It goes to 2-0 here to Matt. The Stone Oak, Texas product, a rising senior at Princeton, has a 3-game hitting streak with 4 combined hits. He has nobody on the base paths here. The Mariners and the Anglers at a 1-run difference with 1 away. Fastball misses high this time. It goes to 3-0 here to Scannell. The first 3-ball count that Seppings has dealt thus far. Meanwhile, Scannell entering tonight hitting .270 with a .400 on-base percentage here. We'll see if he gets the green light here. 3-ball pitch. Fastball runs high at the letters, and it's a 4-pitch walk here for Scannell as he reaches in his first time up, and the Mariners have a 1-out base runner.
It's interesting to see Seppings go from a 3-pitch strikeout to a 4-pitch walk. See if he finds some middle ground here against you.
That brings up Andrew Yu now. He was 0 for 3 in the 3-2 home win against Katuitt 2 nights ago, and didn't get the start last night as Brian Arndt, the UNC Wilmington catcher, instead started for him. The first pitch he sees, he grounds over towards the right side as it ricochets off of the Harwich Mariners dugout. Looked to have Lorenzo Carrier and a couple of other guys in Navy shirts backing off the railing there.
I think head coach Steve Englert needs to get that glove out of his bag.
0-1 here to the Nashville native and Andrew Yu. The runner on first is Matt Scannell after a 4-pitch walk. There's one away with the Mariners ahead 1-0 over the Anglers. Check back over at first, not in time to Scannell. Near capacity crowd here at Veterans Field. The Mariners played in front of that as well on Friday night. They lost 8-1 here. The pitch on the way to Yu. Fastball goes high. 1-1 here. One away, a runner on first in Scannell after a 1-out walk against Jack Seppings of Brown University. He's 2-4 with a 5.37 ERA through his first 2 seasons in college baseball. A righty-righty battle here as Yu stands in. The pitch, the runner takes off, a swing and a miss, throw down to second, and it's going to be not in time. Another stolen base here for Matt Scannell. It's his 4th stolen base here on the season, and the Mariners have another runner in scoring position here with still 1 away.
Scannell's got that sneaky speed. You don't expect it out of a guy like him, but those 4 stolen bases show you he's more than a threat on the bases.
Scannell had 4 stolen bases at Princeton this past season, as he has a strong lead off of second here. Andrew Yu trying to draw in the game's 2nd run here for the Mariners as they lead 1-0 over the Chatham Anglers. Here's the pitch. Taken on the outer half, a slider that had Yu frozen up as there are 2 away, 2 strikeouts here in the second, and 3 overall for Seppings in his latest start.
Seems to be a similar spot that Tim Noon is trying to hit on that outside corner to righties, but Seppings gets a call there.
So now 2 away, 3 strikeouts for Seppings as Mariners still lead 1-0 with a runner on second in Matt Scannell. And that brings in the 6'1", a $190 product of Omaha in Devin Ertl. First pitch on the way to Hurdle, check swing. The appeal down to first, and he went around. The first base umpire, Joe LaBella. At third base is Mike Rabideau. And calling balls and strikes behind home plate, Mickey Garcia. That's the umpiring crew tonight here from Veterans Field. Two away, 0-1 here to Hurdle. The pitch. Fastball clips the outer half as it goes to 0-2 to the DeWitt, Iowa native. This past season at Omaha is second with the Mavericks program, hit .373. Showed a significant improvement from his first season in Division I baseball, in which he actually transferred from Iowa Central Community College. 2 away, 1 on in second. Here's the 2-strike pitch. Sails way outside and low as Hurdle will stay alive here in the count. 2 strikeouts here in the second for Jack Seppings of Brown University. The Mariners ahead 1-0 as Scannell stands on second after a 1-out walk and a stolen base. Mariners needed runs early yesterday. They needed it against Katuitt in order to pull off a 1-run win. We'll see what they can do here. The 1-2 to Hurdle. A swing and a miss. Off-speed pitch had him lunging as Jack Seppings strikes out the side. 1 looking and 2 swinging as he gets his 4th punch out here in the start. The Mariners still leave 1-0 going into the bottom half of the second. They score no runs on no hits, no errors, and leave one in scoring position stranded in Scannell. 1-0 Mariners going into the bottom of the second here from Veterans Field. This is Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Back live here from Veterans Field as the Mariners still lead the Chatham Anglers 1-0 going into the bottom half of the second. Tim Noon back up to face Cam Maldonado as he fouls it away for strike number 1 to the right side. Maldonado, the second baseman, up here for the first time on the evening against Noon. Got out of a mini jam back in the first, left runners on first and second. The pitch tapped over towards the left side. Hurdle at short, steps and fires over to first, and it goes too high and into the Mariners' dugout. So an E6 coming about here. It's the game's first error, as Devin Hurdle seemed to have a sense of apprehension there, just threw it way too high of the first baseman and Mason Guerra.
Just got to set his feet there, get that throw down. Definitely a little bit of apprehension in your first Cape League game. A lot of fans here tonight, so easy to understand how he could be a little apprehensive.
Well, that brings in Lyle Miller Green, the Burke, Virginia native, with 6 RBIs on the season, hitting .273 up until this point. Now a conference going on between Tom Holliday, longtime head coach of the Chatham Anglers, and the home plate umpire, and Mickey Garcia.
I think Holliday wanted to know if their runner was supposed to get an extra base there. Doesn't look like it, though.
And that has been seen in college baseball as well, where if a throw goes wide or misses the first baseman's glove, that you would have a sense of a runner going in a second. Instead, the first pitch to Miller Green clipped on the outer half for strike number 1. An RBI ground out, giving the Mariners their first run on the game. They lead 1-0 over the Anglers here in the bottom of the second. An E6 from Chris Maldonado. Now a throw back over to first on a pickoff attempt goes unsuccessful as Maldonado is in on the ground. Lyle Miller Green out of George Mason as the home plate umpire and Mickey Garcia now yelling something out at the left-handed starter in Tim Noon out of Babson College. Miller Green at 6'5", 230. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball on the outer half, and it goes to 0-2 here. Meanwhile, Miller Green, a two-way player at George Mason this past season. George Mason of the Patriot League. Now the pitch lofted back foul as it stays at 0-2. Maldonado on first after the Anglers went down scoreless in the bottom of the first here from Veterans Field. Tim Noon getting a start here once again for the Mariners has been a standstill option for Steve Englert. The 0-2. Lofted out towards right center field, running over to his left. Obi, he makes the catch. Not too far in front of the track as there's one away, and that will force Maldonado to retreat back to first after reaching on an E6.
Obi seemed to be well positioned there. He's playing a little bit to the left of second base. Definitely playing that gap for Miller Green.
Obi has looked unfazed out there in center field. Has played a little bit of right, but mostly center field here on the season. Now up to Caden Kent, the first baseman, now with one away. The first pitch. Breaking ball misses low. A great stop by Andrew Yu out of Duke for ball number 1. Maldonado on first after reaching on an E6. The Mariners with no errors last night. They had 4 here on Friday night, however, when they lost 8-1 against the Anglers. The pitch, runner takes off, lofted high and deep out towards left field. It's not going to be too deep for Scannell as he moves to his left. And he makes the play for the second out. It's a very loud out here in the second. And the fly ball contact has been highly induced thus far by Tim Noon. Not someone you see get a lot of ground ball contact, but if you take the outs, you can get the outs, especially as the Mariners look to get back in the win column on the road.
Yeah, and you'd like to see Noon continue to attempt to get ground ball contact as opposed to fly ball. He's definitely given up his fair share of fly balls already here just in the second inning.
Now the first pitch to Xavier Casarola, slider that flies outside for ball number 1. 2 away here on the bottom of the second. The Mariners ahead 1-0 on an RBI ground out. Mason Guerra given the chance for the Mariners to find their first lead here at Veterans Field this season. The pitch taken low, and it's quickly 2-0 here to the 9-hole hitter in Casarola. Mariners just 5-5 in their last 10 games. Certainly would be a momentum pusher in order to get a win here tonight. The pitch taken outside for a strike as it's 2-1 here to the Seminole State College product.
And there's the call that Noon's been looking for on that outside corner. Seemed to be trying to clip it in the first inning. Seems to have found it here.
Runner on first is Maldonado. The pitch skied foul way back behind the netting as it goes to 2-2. Lots of young fans here at the ballpark starting to enjoy the game, also starting to share their conversations as well. Here's the 2-strike pitch, and it gets away. A pickoff attempt back over to first, and the runner in Maldonado is going to be out. Excellent heads-up play by the left-handed starter in Tim Noon, the Babson College product, with a 1-3-6 throw-out attempt at second. It goes successful for the final out here. So Castarillo will have to wait as Maldonado is thrown out. The Mariners keep it to a 1-0 ball game going into the third inning here at Veterans Field. We'll be right back here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Welcome back to Veterans Field in Chatham, Massachusetts, as the Harwich Mariners hold a 1-0 lead going into the third inning. Jacob Humphrey, Casey Sauke, Mason Guerra, the top third of the lineup due up here against Jack Spellings out of Brown University. The first pitch, a fastball, clips the inner half for strike number one. The Mariners getting on the board with an RBI infield single for Mason Guerra out of Oregon State, now on a 5-game on-base streak, 5-game hit streak as well. Humphrey tonight's leadoff hitter. The Mariners certainly looking to build a bigger lead here. The 0-1 lofted high out towards left center field. About a mile high for Etzel as he trots to his right, and he makes the catch for out number one here in the third. Wyatt Kopelman, Matt Skillings here with you on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network, and Matt, certainly seems as if Tim Noon, in search of that first win here tonight, is just getting the outs that he needs, and they're especially through the air.
Yeah, he's definitely got to limit those fly balls because, eventually they might hurt him if he lets him hit the gaps and the lines. But as of right now, he's getting a lot of lofty fly balls and not a lot of hard contact, so that's been good for him.
That brings up Casey Sauke out of Virginia. First pitch to the right-hander, swing and a miss for strike number one. Casey Sauke with the Mariners' second straight single back in the top of the first for the first two hits on the game. Single to right field. He's been on a tear as of late.
Great addition to the lineup in the absence of Culpepper.
0-1, a swing and a miss. You know what? I was actually catch up with Sauke just after batting practice here at Veterans Field tonight. Certainly looked a lot more cloudy than it is now with the clouds starting to clear, but Sauke said that what makes Virginia such a unique baseball program is the ultimate sense of preparation. They have a very specific structure under longtime head coach Brian O'Connor. Really helped them get to the Super Regional and then to the College World Series. The 2-strike pitch. Served out towards right field, and it's going to be a catch for Kent as he moved to his left, right in front of the first base bag. It was hooking towards foul territory, but Sauke falls to 1 for 2 on the night as there are quickly 2 away in the third.
And Josefino will be getting a taste of that Virginia culture this year as he's transferring from Elon. I'm sure him and Sauke have had a few conversations already about their future as teammates.
And certainly Sauke was very appreciative in that first chance for him to actually go play in Omaha. He just appreciated the atmosphere, let alone the actual competition. Virginia not going to the College World Series final, but certainly a memorable experience for the Rochester, New York native. Now the first pitch to Mason Guerra, a fastball above the letters for ball number one. Guerra with the RBI single back in the first, as the Mariners now lead 1-0 over the Chatham Anglers. Tim Noon out of Babson College getting out of a mini jam back in the first, straining runners at first and second before facing just 3 back in the second. The 1-0 sailing low as it goes to 2-0 here to Guerra. Mariners had the chance to get more runs back in the first as well. A 6-4-3 double play and a strikeout looking to Kenny Lavari, keeping the M's from tacking on additional runs against Jack Seppings out of Brown University. 2-4 over his past 2 seasons at Brown. 2-0 goes low in the dirt as it goes to 3-0 here. Meanwhile, for Guerra, the key has been just getting the ground ball contact that a lot of pitchers look for. But what he shares with Sauke, at least from observation throughout his first few games alongside Sauke, is just the way that they get the backspin on the ball on the ground. As the pitch comes down the middle on a fastball, it goes to 3-1. Guerra had an outstanding season, meanwhile, in the Pac-12 at Oregon State, his sophomore season there. Hit .238. Hitting .238 with the Mariners, .326 with the Oregon State Beavers. The 3-1 on the way. Fastball misses low and outside. A 5-pitch walk here for Guerra. He reaches for the second time here today, and that's certainly going to be a key for the Mariners to have that reliance on the men in the upper half of their order.
Yeah, and Seppings is really just looking for some consistency out here. Walking a strikeout last inning. Got his leader here this inning, but gives up a 5-pitch walk here. And definitely not somebody you want to give extra chances to in Lorenzo Carrier here.
Now it's Lorenzo Carrier's turn, the power hitter out of Miami, hitting the designated hitter slots here tonight. The first pitch from Seppings goes outside for ball 1. A 1-0 lead for the Mariners with 2 away here in the top of the third. Veterans Field, the floodlights have come on, and the crowd has settled in here on Independence Day weekend. Seppings working out of the stretch. He's shaking off some signs from the catcher in white. The 1-0. Misses outside 2-0. Slider has not worked consistently thus far here for Seppings. He's working out of the stretch again here in the third. Stranded runner at second and Matt Scannell after he stole his 4th base on the season. That was just back in the second inning as the Mariners were unable to pad their lead here. But they have a chance to do it with the 2-out spark from Lorenzo Carrier. 1 on in Mason Guerra after a 2-out walk. A pitch, a swing, and a miss. A foul tip into the glove for that matter. It goes to 2-1.
I'll tell you where Carrier was looking on that one. Dead center field, 450. That was a hack.
By all means, he has the power for those home run swings as well. Despite going 0 for 4 in that 1-run loss at Hyannis last night over at McKeon Park. Throw back over to first is not in time. His last 5 games, he has a hit, 5 RBIs, and 4 walks. But when he got to the Mariners program this season, when they were on the road at Eldridge Park, I know you saw it, Matt. I saw it as well as you did. A 2-run double, but before that, a 3-run home run. Certainly announcing his presence. The pitch, a swing and a miss. It goes to 2-2 here to the Bear Delaware native.
And that home run was a screaming line drive that, I'll tell you what, it barely made it over the fence at Eldridge Park, but it probably would have gone through it if it was a little bit lower. It was cranked.
Carrier at 6'5", 225. He just finished up his second year at Miami with 4 home runs. The 2-strike pitch. Just misses the outer corner as the count runs full here to the 4-hole hitter.
It's a real close one. It's a tough take from Carrier. Ultimately a good move, but it's a tough one to lay off on a 2-strike count.
He's tried to exercise plate discipline, has struggled with those pitches low, though. We'll see how he fares here as he has to protect with 2 away and 1 on. The payoff pitch from Seppings. Runner goes, grounded over towards the left side, past the glove of Fabian at short as it trails into left center field. That will send Guerra into third, and he will stop right there. A huge out that was available for the Anglers, but nonetheless, Lorenzo Carrier with a soft ground ball into left center field, and the Mariners have runners on the corners with 2 away in the third.
With the nature of that 3-2 count, obviously Guerra was off on the pitch, allowed him to get to third there. It almost seemed like Fabian was playing a little farther left, maybe a little more of a shift on Carrier, but certainly hit hard enough to get through the gap there. So
not hard to notice how open the middle infield was that time as Kenny Lavari, the left-hander, steps in. He swings and misses on a fastball for strike number 1. 2 runners on with 2 down here in the third. The Mariners ahead 1-0 over the Anglers here at Veterans Field. Guerra on third and Carrier on first after 2 out base hits to left field. Lavari, the Vineland, New Jersey native at Old Dominion of the Sun Belt Conference. The next pitch goes high. It goes to 1-1. Mariners trying to get back in the win column here tonight, but they will need insurance runs, despite Chatham's struggles throughout its lineup this season. Carey now 1 for 2 on the day after grounding into a 6-4-3 double play back in the first. Seppings is ready above the letters. He deals a swing and a miss as it goes to 1-2 as Lavari now be forced to shield here.
Lavari, a good contact hitter. Definitely going to be looking to just poke something over the shortstop or second baseman's head here.
Huge spot for the Mariners, taking their second trip to Veterans Field this season. Runners on the corners with 2 down. Lavari looking for his first hit after striking out looking. Here's the pitch. Flies way inside at the belt as that backs Lavari off the plate, and the count goes to 2-2. Lavari feeling like he has nothing to lose, but certainly don't want to be swinging at that pitch either. Fastball missed way inside, the control lacking that time from Seppings. Guerra on third, Carrier on first. A pickoff attempt back over at first. Just a little late on the throw. Mariners lost their prior game to Chatham 8-1 here at Veterans Field on Friday night. A fog-filled Veterans Field that had the Mariners a little bit uncertain at times on their fielding. Another check back over at first, unsuccessful.
That one a little bit closer. Carrier just got that hand in before he was tagged.
And he has those wide strides as well. It's almost like a tight end, but certainly don't want to be taking advantage of too much here. He has a very strong lead off of first.
When you're 6'5", you can afford that.
Runners on the corners, 2 away. Counts 2-2 here to Lavari. A 2-strike pitch, a fastball going high. It's 3-2. So Lavari, after being back down with 2 strikes in the count, he has battled back to get ahead, and a payoff pitch is loading here.
League leader, or team leader in walks, Kenny Lavari with 14. Certainly seeing that patience here.
Mariners looking for insurance runs here, ahead 1-0 over the Anglers. The payoff pitch, runner goes, and it's foul tipped off of Lavari's cleat as the count stays at 3-2. Lavari with a 3-game hitting streak. And as you said, Matt, he has been so adept at being able to find his way on base no matter which way you take it. The walks he has excelled at. The Mariners hitting .247 on the road, meanwhile, could certainly use an extra base hit here to bring in at least one, if not for only a single. Seppings, the right-hander, out of Brown University with a payoff pitch, and it gets taken on the outer half and gets called looking. Lavari strikes out looking for the second time here today as the Mariners strand runners on the corners. They bring 5 to the plate, and they score no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and leave 2 stranded. The Mariners trying to preserve their lead in the bottom half of the third, and it's coming to you here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. One to nothing, Harwich leads over Chatham here from Veterans Fields. Xavier Casarilla, the 9-hole hitter, due up here. Tim Noon back on the mound as he deals a pitch low for ball number 1. Mariners leaving runners on the corners in the top half of the third as he looked for insurance runs. Meanwhile, Noon working quickly out of the windup as he deals another pitch low. It goes to 2-0 here to Casarilla. Seminole State College product up for the first time here today. A 1-3-6 putout at second, closing out the third. The pitch lofted down the right side, and it's going to go well foul. And that closed out for the second, for that matter. Tim Noon facing the minimum, 2 flyouts, and that throw out at second as well. So 2-1 here to Casarilla. The Mariners ahead 1-0 with nobody on. Pitch missing inside just the shoe tops.
I'll tell you what, we're battling the bugs out here. They're coming in full force for me and Wyatt.
3-1 on the way. Tapped up into the infield, but they're going to say it was off the cleat of Casarilla. So now the count goes to 3-2 here. Tim Noon has worked relatively solid thus far. Faced 5 in the first. Gave a 2-out hit and a 1-out walk, but got out of a mini jam, stranding a runner at first and second each. The 2-ball pitch on the way. Grounded over towards the right side and past the diving glove of Guerra as it sails down the right field line. That sends Casarilla past first as it sends him into second. He goes past second into third, and he will reach third diving. The throw is well wide.
That's a great play by Lavari to cut that ball off. Definitely could have been an inside the park home run right there if Lavari hadn't run off the base about 10 feet to grab that one. Great piece of hitting, though, by Casarilla.
So a leadoff triple here for Xavier Casarilla as that forces Noon to work out of the stretch, and that brings up Matt Etzel for the second time out of Southern Mississippi. Tying run is at third now as Etzel steps up for the second time. He struck out swinging back in the first. Middle of the infield is open here for Etzel, tonight's leadoff hitter. First pitch, a bunt laid down over towards the right side. Noon off the mound as nobody's going to grab it. The second baseman, Humphrey, tried to get on top of it, and that will keep the runner in Casarilla at bay over at third. Runners on the corners with nobody out, and it's a hit here on an excellent bunt attempt from Matt Etzel.
And I'm not really sure why Casarilla didn't just make a break for home. That could not have been placed in a better spot. A little bit too far for the pitcher to get to, and certainly a long run for Humphrey to grab. Casarilla would have scored pretty easily on that one.
Still nobody away, and Derek Fabian steps in, the right-hander out of Florida. It's 6-3. The first pitch, serve foul towards the right side for strike one. Fabian had a strong freshman season, hitting .218 with 4 home runs, 4 doubles in 46 games. His past season at Florida, dominant as well, hitting .289. Not the hugest extra base hit threat here, but he works with runners on the corners. The 0-2, just missing outside. And as it goes another to 1-1.
This is where Noon has gotten in some trouble in previous starts once he gets to the third or fourth inning. Look to see if he can calm himself down here.
Fabian with a 1-out walk back in the first, and a pickoff attempt back over at first, unsuccessful. Etzel with a bunt to second base, and a leadoff triple from Xavier Casarilla, forcing Noon to work out of a mini jam once again here. The 1-1. Slider chopped foul. Goes back into the ninth, and it goes to 1-2. Mariners will have Devin Obie, Matt Scannell, and Andrew Udu back up in the bottom of the order when they come up to bat to start the fourth. Meanwhile, Noon still looking for his first out. Whips it back over to first, but it's not in time. The Mariners leading 1-0 here. Still none away in the bottom of the third from Veterans Fields. Trying to get a win on the road against the Chatham Anglers. A 2-strike pitch. Roped into left center field, and it falls for a base hit in front of Obie. That sends Casarilla into home. He will score standing up, and it's a new ball game on an RBI hit from Derek Fabian as he moves to 1-for-1 on the night.
It's good piece hitting by Fabian to stay through that ball and drive it up the middle. Noon's got to force it all bases now.
Etzel into second. Fabian with the RBI hit. It's 1-1 between the Mariners and the Anglers here at Veterans Field. Meanwhile, Carter Trice out of NC State stepping up here. Here's the pitch. Runners go. Throw down to third from you, and it's not going to be in time. A double steal here, and the Anglers forcing Noon to face more stress here as he continues to work out of the stretch.
And Etzel got a great jump off of second on that one. He was gone a full second before Noon released the ball.
It was a great jump by both. Now here's the pitch, and it goes low. 2-0 here to Carter Trice.
Certainly a batter to be wary of, especially with no outs in second and third. Open base.
Goes low here to Trice. It's 3-0 here, taken in the dirt that time. Trice at NC State 41 appearances, 28 starts. He made 23 starts in left field. He hit .248 with 49 doubles. Had a grand slam as well. The pitch skied well back behind home plate. Foul coming towards us on the left side, as it will just make the seats in about the third row.
I'll tell you what, that looked like it was coming right for us.
Well, Trice was ahead 3-0 in the count. He certainly had the green light, to say the least, as he digs back in from the right side. Trice hitting .248 for the Wolfpack of the ACC this season. 2 runners in scoring position. Etzel at third, Fabian at second on a double steal. Casarella coming home to score. Here's a 3-ball pitch, and it's fouled back. It goes to 3-2. Noon has had to face a lot of deep counts thus far. He's had to battle back in those as well. Trice flying out to left field back of the first. Mariners won. Anglers won here after the Mariners took a 1-0 lead here into the third inning. Payoff pitch goes low in the dirt, and it's a walk to load the bases here. Trice reaching base for the first time on the night, as it's a huge bases-loaded jam for Noon to work out of here, still with none away here at Veterans Field in the third. Nolan Schubart now coming up, a tall left-hander. You'd have to think that at least something to leave the infield scores too for the Anglers' first lead, as that will draw pitching coach R.J. Thomas out of the dugout here.
And certainly you never want to walk in that situation, but not the worst scenario, letting the 3-batter get on. Force out at all bases now. Definitely going to be looking for a ground ball. Hope to get that runner cut down at home and maybe turn 2.
Sean Hard, the reliever out of Boston College, warming up down the right field line here at Veterans Field. Meanwhile, Nolan Schubart looking to get the Mariners behind for the first time here tonight. Carter Trice reaching with a walk. Etzel and Fabian in scoring position. Trice representing a huge opportunity here. And instead of 1 out, another strikeout here for Tim Noon in his latest start of the season. He still has none on the board here. Schubart a single to left field back in the first as he awaits the first pitch. Here it comes. Just misses low and a changeup for ball 1.
It's a good spot. Low and outside. Looked like he could have got the call, but.
Here's the 1-0. A swing and a miss on a changeup. 2-0, or rather 1-1 here to Schubart. 1-1 between the Anglers and the Mariners here in the bottom of the third from Veterans Field. Etzel on third, Fabian on second, Trice on first. Pitch well low as it goes to 2-1 now.
Good block from you there. Squared that ball up behind the plate, not allowing the run to come in.
Trice still looking for his first hit, hitting .385 on the season. The pitch tapped into the middle infield. Hurdle steps on second for one. The throw into first. It's in time, but a run comes across the score in Matt Etzel as the Anglers have their first lead on the night. It's 2-1 over the Mariners here at Veterans Field.
That's a great play by Hurdle there. That ball came on a short hop to him, but more than able to corral that ball and step on second and make an accurate throw to first for the double play.
Hudson White, the catcher, stepping back up here as Mickey Garcia, the home plate umpire, calls for time. Runner on third, Fabian, as he avoided the 6-3 double play. Anglers ahead 2-1. The first pitch, a slider missing outside for ball number 1 here to White. Flat out to center field back in the first as the Anglers hold their first lead on the ball game here at Veterans Field. The pitch, slider outside. It's 2-0 here. Slider has not been commanding thus far here from Noon, has just not given him a lot of leverage in the counts here, as he's fallen behind quite often thus far. Here's the 2-0. Breaking ball comes down at the upper half as it goes to 2-1.
Yeah, and you'd like to see Noon be a little bit more aggressive here. Needs to pound the zone a little bit more, not allow so many walks.
White out of Texas Tech. The pitch he sees grabbing the lower half as it goes to 2-2. A changeup that time from Tim Noon out of Babson College. White with 9 strikeouts on the season. He looks to avoid another here. And an 0-for-2 start. Pitch taken low as Yude blocks behind the plate.
And that's a good slider there from Noon. Hasn't been locating it to the best of his ability yet, but it's a good pitch.
On third, Fabian, 2 away here in the bottom of the third. The 2-strike pitch. Lined out towards right field in a center. Obi making the catch to his left. A loud final out here in the third, but Chatham takes its first lead on the ball game, scoring 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and leaving 1 stranded in Fabian at third. So Obi was able to make an acrobatic catch, and that prevented the Mariners from falling behind any further as the Anglers get 2 runs here in the bottom of the third. 4th inning coming your way here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Two to one lead for the Chatham Anglers going into the top half of the fourth here at Veterans Field. Sun gradually setting below the horizon out in the outfield. The floodlights have fully come on here as the Mariners look to tie the ball game or take the lead. Wyatt Kopelman and Matt Skillings here with you on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Devin Obi, Matt Scannell, Andrew Udo up here as the 6, 7, and 8 hitters. Meanwhile, Jack Seppings out of Brown, the right-hander, set for his 4th inning of work. First pitch, a bunt shown. Pulled back just in time as it goes off the inner half for ball number 1. We've seen a strong outing of Seppings thus far, despite giving up an RBI single to Mason Guerra back in the first inning for the Mariners' first lead. He started to settle in here. He has 5 strikeouts. The 1-0 on the way, and it goes low. It's 2-0 here to Obi out of Duke. But for Seppings thus far, he has certainly induced some ground ball contact, a little bit of fly ball contact, but mostly relying on the 5 strikeouts.
And Obi was one of those victims of a 3-pitch strikeout back in the second.
Seppings brings the hands together, the 2-0. Taps foul behind home plate. It goes to 2-1. Obi here tonight looking to extend that on-base streak to 8 games. He leads the Mariners right now. Jacob Humphrey with a 5-game on-base streak now moved to 6 as well, as the Mariners trail 2-1 here with no outs in the top of the fourth from Veterans Field.
And Obi got that pitch he was looking for on 2-1. Just didn't make the most of it.
The 2-1 from Seppings, served high and deep out towards left field, going all the way back to the wall. Trice, he makes the catch at the warning track, standing all the way up right in front of the 360 marker, as the Mariners looked like they had a solo home run out of Devin Obi for the 2nd straight night, and instead it's a loud out number 1 here to start the 4th.
Maybe a couple more push-ups in the gym from Obi, and that's gone. But and Wyatt got excited on that play, lost the chair, but we're back up now.
I had to stand up, couldn't see past the obstruction down left field. Now the first pitch on the way to Matt Scannell, a fastball missing high for ball number 1. 5 strikeouts here for Jack Seppings. After a 2-4 2 years at Brown University, through 28 games, he had 72 strikeouts, and it's shown well here tonight against the Mariners lineup. Now the 1-0 pitch, a changeup clipping the outer half as it goes to 1-1. Fly out to left from Obi, just about 5 feet short of the left field fence. Nobody on here for Scannell with 1 away. The Mariners trailing 2-1. The next pitch missing outside on a changeup. It's 2-1 here to Scannell. Mariners and Anglers meeting for the third time this season. A theatrical ending to the first meeting back at White House Field. It was a walk-off base hit from Ali Camarillo. 8-1 loss 3 nights ago here at Veterans Field. The 2-1 on the way. Fastball runs high. It's 3-1. And Matt, to at least see the Mariners bring that strong approach, protecting the plate, seeing their pitches. Devin Obie just shy of a solo home run to left field. Certainly can help them avenge their slow start at the plate with those 5 strikeouts. We'll see how Matt Scannell responds here ahead 3-1. The count, almost nothing to lose. A 3-ball pitch. And it misses high. Scannell drawing his second walk here on the night. And that certainly is confidence-inducing for the bottom of the order that has remained quiet thus far.
Yeah, Scannell patient at the plate there. You like to see it from the bottom of this order, even though, Scannell's got a lot of power. We haven't seen a ton of it yet, but when he gets a hold of it, he tags that ball. So he'll certainly be looking for something in his next at-bat, but for now, I'm sure he's happy with a walk.
Now over to Andrew Yu, the catcher, struck out looking back in the second. Sepping's ready at the letters. The pitch, a fastball high for ball number 1. Runner on first is Scannell with the Mariners trailing the Anglers 2-1 here. An RBI infield single from Mason Guerra, giving the Mariners a 1-0 lead in the opening frame before the Anglers got 2 runs back in the third inning. Sepping's out of the stretch, the 1-0. Slider grabbing the upper half as it goes to 1-1.
And you just batting just over 150 so far this season.
His first 5 games with the Mariners, 3 hits, an RBI, and 3 walks. Found his way to get on base despite a quiet couple of games to start his season. Check back over at first. A little too late. Scannell dives in safely.
Certainly a great opportunity for him here. Get the lineup moving a little bit, get towards the top of the lineup, and get a little momentum going for the Mariners.
Mariners need it, the 1-1. A high swing and a miss, back pick down to first, and it's too late. So after Scannell stole his 4th base on the season, he becomes a threat here to the starter in Seppings out of Brown University. The Mariners certainly have looked to Scannell as of late in the last 5 games to get those stolen bases. 1-2 is the count here to Andrew Yu, the Nashville, Tennessee native. Working in a righty-righty battle here as the Mariners trail the Anglers 2-1 in the top of the 4th. Here's the 2-strike pitch. Fastball missing outside. It goes to 2-2. Well, we've talked about the Mariners certainly getting it ahead in counts. Andrew Yu doing a good job of just staying alive in this count meanwhile. On first, Scannell after a 1-out walk with 1 away here in the top of the 4th. The Mariners trail 2-1. Another throwback over at first as Scannell dives in once again. Now you consider that the Mariners, they needed runs to get back into the game yesterday against an average hitting Hyannis team, and it was more so needed 2 nights ago against Katuitt when they took a 3-2 walk-off win. Every run counted, and it certainly resembled that way last night as well as they lost by 1 of the Harbor Hawks. The pitch, the runner takes off, line down the right field side as it goes foul. And we'll do it again at 2-2.
And Scannell was leaning on that pitch he got picked off on. Looked like he was going to try and steal. He just attempted to steal there. He got a pretty good jump on that pitch. Really liking to use his speed on the base pass. Already 1 stolen base, looking for 2.
Mariners looking for their first run since the first inning. It was an infield RBI single from Mason Guerra out of Oregon State. Sepping's ready again. The 2-2. Fastball lobbed back behind home plate as it goes foul, and we'll do it again. So the Mariners at 11-8 on this season. They remain tied for first in the Cape Cod East standings with Yarmouth Dennis. This is a huge game. Unable to get a win Friday night here. Baseball after dark against a struggling Chatham team, particularly with the ERA. As they trail by 1 here, looking to get back in this one. An opportunity here for you to move a runner in a scoring position in Scannell. Now the throw back to first, and Scannell's caught in a rundown. Kent's trying to throw back onto short. Now the throw back over towards first with Seppings, and they have him in a rundown. And a throw back to second base, and Scannell is safe. He beat 3 different throws on a pickoff attempt from the right-hander in Seppings as he steals another base, and it's his 5th on the season. The Mariners have a runner in scoring position here in the 4th.
As much credit as you want to give to Scannell on that one, that's just a misplay by the Chatham infield. You're taught in Little League Baseball, 2 throws is the max and a rundown. You got to run that runner down and get him trapped going towards first base. Poorly executed by Chatham there, but a good job by Scannell to scamper out of that.
He certainly did scamper. Scannell scampers out of it. He has a strong lead out of second. You, meanwhile, looking for a second RBI on the season here as the Mariners trail 2-1 against the Anglers in the top of the fourth. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball just misses the outer half as it goes to 3-2. You with 3 walks here on the season, just a pitch away from filling the vacant first base now.
Somebody set off some firecrackers right behind us.
It is Independence Day weekend. You looking for a firecracker of his own here. Scannell still dancing off of second. Here's the payoff pitch, and it's served foul down the right side.
Great at bat from you here.
I think it might be the best one we've seen all evening.
Yep.
Might be the best one we've seen. 3-ball counts have not been common, really, for Seppings out of Brown University, the starter for Chatham. The right-hander has only dealt 3 3-ball counts to this point.
Sepping certainly has to worry about Scannell on base there. Seems to be looking to time him up.
1 away, 1 on at second, and Scannell. Here's the payoff pitch. Fastball goes too high. A 1-out walk here for Andrew Yu as he collects his 4th on the season. And after striking out looking back in the second, the Mariners have traffic on the base pass as that forces a mound meeting here.
And that is one of the best outcomes of that at-bat right there. You just drove Sepping's pitch count up a lot. And for somebody who had settled into the game pretty well, Seppings is now in a little bit of a jam here. 2 runners on and just 1 out in the 4th inning.
Well, the Mariners got a run in the first inning, and you could say that they would certainly be better off had they gotten at least 2 in that first frame. But now it's up to Devin Hurdle as he steps up for the second time here tonight. So the mound meeting adjourns here between Hudson White, the catcher out of Texas Tech, and Seppings out of Brown University. Scannell on second, Yu on first. Hurdle already in his biggest at-bat here on the season. He struck out looking to leave a runner in scoring position back in the second, but the Mariners trailing 2-1 against the Anglers here with only 1 away in the fourth have Hurdle in a prime opportunity here. The first pitch, chopped to the left side, and it's going to trail just foul. Strike 1 here to Hurdle. Struck out swinging back in the second to close out an unsuccessful frame for the Mariners. Runners on first and second here for the Mariners, looking to tie, if not take the lead here, still with only 1 away in the fourth. Here's the 0-1. Lofted into left field and into center for that matter, as Etzel makes the catch on the line, and that will force both runners to retreat back to first and second. A line out here, and there are 2 away, as Hurdle certainly gave it a good charge into the outfield.
Hurdle got a piece of that. Sort of an inside-out swing. It was an inside pitch, but he lined it to center field. Saw a lot of that in batting practice out of him, but good contact.
Flips the lineup card here for Jacob Humphrey, the second baseman, 1 for 2 here on the day, as Matt Holliday, longtime Chatham A's head coach, signals for a pitching change here. 2-out mark of the fourth, the Mariners threatening with runners on first and second after a pair of walks to Matt Scannell and Andrew Yu. So the Mariners looking to get back into this one. They trail 2-1. We're still here in the fourth on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Back live from Veterans Field as the Mariners are threatening with runners on first and second. A pitching change here. The first call to the bullpen as Jack Seppings' day is done. The new pitcher into the ballgame, the freshman out of Oregon State, and Aiden Jimenez at 6'3", 216, the right-hander of Elk Grove, California. Set to face Jacob Humphrey here. 1 for 2 on the evening thus far. Jimenez working out of the stretch immediately. The first pitch, a swing and a foul. Tip back into the backstop for strike one. Single to center field back in the first. Flat out to center field back in the third. Scannell on second, Yu on first here. The Mariners trying to get a two-out spark here to at least tie, if not take the lead, as they trail 2-1 here at Veterans Field. The 0-1. Slider missing low and away. It goes to 1-1. Seppings this past season at Oregon State, pitching in 22 games, a 5-2 record with a 5.68 ERA. Meanwhile, Jack Seppings giving up 4 hits in 3 2/3 innings in his first start here for the Chatham Anglers. The 1-1 from the right-hander. Slider misses high and outside as it goes to 2-1. You like the approach here from Jacob Humphrey, 1 for 2 here today. You'd certainly appreciate getting an RBI hit here, but if not for a walk, that at least loads the bases here. The wind now blowing out to left field. Jimenez, the first reliever in the ballgame for either side. The 2-1. Line back into the screen. It goes to 2-2.
Humphrey certainly has his fair share of walks this season, just behind Kenny Lavari for second on the team.
Humphrey hitting in the leadoff spot for most of the season here, arguably his biggest at-bat as the Mariners need runs moving into the middle frames. Two-way in the top of the fourth. The 2-2. Bounce foul back behind home plate, and the count stays at 2-2. The Mariners taking a 1-0 lead on an RBI infield single from Mason Guerra back in the first inning, but Chatham took 2 in the third. And ever since, the Mariners have been searching for runs, with the wind slightly helping them here, almost a solo home run from Devin Obi. The pitch, both runners taking off, grounded over towards the left side, right in the glove of Casarilla. He fires onto first, and it goes wide to the left side of the glove. That forces Scannell to score standing up. Right behind him will be Andrew Yu, as Yu will try and get into the plate diving, and he is safe.
Wow, and that was a phenomenal slide from Andrew Yu. That ball, the catcher had the ball about 5 feet up the third baseline, and Yu made a Superman dive around him and got to home plate. Jacob Humphrey also advancing all the way to third on that play. Used his speed really well.
An infield single for Jacob Humphrey. He reaches on an error by the third baseman Xavier Casarilla of Seminole State College. 2 runs him across the score. And the Mariners, just like that, take a 3-2 lead with 2 away here in the top of the fourth from Veterans Field. Scannell and Yu score, and now Casey Sauke out of Virginia steps up here, trying to keep moving the line. The first pitch, a swing and a miss on a breaking ball for strike number 1.
And going back to that last play, Scannell and Yu are both off on the pitch. Certainly caused a little bit of apprehension for third baseman.
The 0-1 to the right-hander, and it goes low.
Maybe a reason for his bad throw, but first baseman not able to block it up, and just a ring around the rosy for the Mariners there.
And Kent, the first baseman, certainly had a valiant throw into home, but it was just a little bit too wide as Yu dove in slowly. As the pitch goes low, it goes to 2-1. So Sauke 1 for 2 here on the evening. 1 for 1 start with a single to right field back in the first. Popped out to first base back in the third as he looks to drive in Jacob Humphrey with the RBI single. The 2-1. Chopped up towards the left side, a weak ground ball here for Casarilla. He barehands it, fires onto first, and it's not in time. An RBI single for Casey Sauke, giving the Mariners a bigger lead here to start the fourth inning, as the Mariners have a 3-run lead at 4-1.
That ball was just tapped down the third baseline. Great effort from Casarilla to make that play. That's a near impossible play. Barehanded it. Made a decent throw to first base, but Sauke just too fast. Advances us to 4-2 here.
Mason Guerra of Oregon State stepping back up here. The Mariners now with 3 runs here in the fourth, leading Chatham 4-2. Here's the first pitch. Called strike at the letters for strike number 1. Guerrero with the single to shortstop back in the first and earned a 2-out walk back in the third. He was stranded at third base despite a single from Lorenzo Carrier. Jimenez out of the stretch. Sauke takes off from first. Ball goes outside. The throw down to second, and it's in time. A huge out on Casey Sauke on the base pass. An excellent throw down by White out of Texas Tech. The catcher guns down the Virginia product for the final out of the inning. But the Mariners now take a 2-run lead into the bottom half of the fourth inning. The Mariners looking for a big inning, and they get it as they lead 4-2 here at Veterans Field. We're stepping on away for a break, but we're coming on back here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. The Mariners take the lead 4-2 as they now face a new pitcher for Chatham in Sean Hard. The first pitch on the way, a fastball high for ball number one. Chris Maldonado out of Vanderbilt up for the second time here today. Hard, meanwhile, in his fourth outing on the season, he provided his second scoreless outing in a 7-3 win against Wareham as the pitch is skied to the left side, well foul, and it goes to 1-1 here to Maldonado. Hard at 6'5", 210, the sophomore out of Boston College. A 1.28 ERA on the season, and he had 3 strikeouts with a walk in 2 relief innings in his second appearance on the season. Set to face Maldonado, Miller Green, and Kent. A 1-1 to swing and a miss. It goes to 1-2 here.
Hard was great in his most recent appearance last week. Steve Englert was raving about his performance.
Here's the 1-2. Fastball just goes inside as it goes to 2-2 here to Maldonado. The final line on Tim Noon, 3 innings, 2 earned runs, 4 hits, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout here. The pitch skied towards the right side, and it's going to go just foul. Nobody able to make the catch, meanwhile, in foul territory.
Just snuck over the fence there.
Meanwhile, from Maldonado out of Vanderbilt, reaching on an error by the shortstop in Hurdle back in the second, a throw that went way high. 2-2 is coming again here from Sean Hard. The pitch just misses outside. It goes to 3-2. Mariners head 4-2 after a 2-run fourth inning here. Took a 1-0 lead into the third inning before Chatham grabbed back 2 runs. The payoff pitch from Hard. Lined over into left field, and it's down for a base hit right in front of the left fielder in Scannell. It's a leadoff hit from Maldonado, as there's a leadoff runner here for the Anglers.
Hard has excelled in situations where he's not in deep counts, like a 3-2 count there. Strikes out a lot of batters, but when he's getting those strikeouts, he's throwing 3 or 4 pitches. Does struggle with the walk sometimes, but certainly going to look to get ahead in counts and stay ahead.
That brings in Lyle Miller Green out of George Mason. This past season for the Patriots, a strong season. The pitch going high here for ball number 1. Leadoff base hit here from Chris Maldonado as the Mariners lead the Anglers 4-2 with still none away in the bottom of the 4th from Veterans Fields. A capacity crowd here. Pitch. Taken high for a fastball. It's 2-0 here to Miller Green. The Mariners trying to get a win before going back to White House Field tomorrow. 2-0. Fastball goes high, 3-0. So the Mariners have Sean Hard on the mound in his first relief outing. Mariners road stand is continuing here. And there are certainly not a lot of spaces to look around here at the field at Veterans Field. 3-0 goes high and inside. It goes for a 4-pitch walk here. So that moves Maldonado into second on a walk here for Lyle Miller Green. He reaches for the first time, and they're 2 on.
That's what I was talking about with the walks there. Hard is certainly going to look to get a ground ball here. And Steve Engler looks like he's going to come and have a chat.
Well, Sean Hart has had issues with command at times this season. After Tim Noon, the starter, went 3 innings and gave up 2 earned runs in the 3rd. And that will bring in Caden Kentz, the first baseman. The mound meeting adjourns. Englert leaves Hard on the mound here.
Looking to just give Hard a vote of confidence there. Certainly has the capability to pitch himself out of this situation.
Huge spot here for Chatham to draw within 1 or tie the ball game here. Maldonado on second, Miller Green on first. A leadoff single and a walk here from Sean Hard out of Mahwah, New Jersey. He's actually pitched in 3 games this season thus far. The pitch, a swing and a miss for Caden Kent for strike number 1. This matchup initially scheduled for June 17th. It was a Saturday afternoon before the Mariners and the Anglers got poured on. That forced another rescheduled game here. Now a bunt shown, and it's taken high for ball number 1 here to Caden Kent. Flat out to left field, back in the 2nd. He's gotten a load of starts here this season for Tom Holliday. 4 RBIs, 15 hits. Hitting .273 this season. He works with runners on first and second. The Mariners had 4-2 in the 4th. The pitch goes high, and it gets away off the glove of Yu as it goes all the way back to the netting. As now both runners move into scoring position. Maldonado into 3rd and Miller Green into 2nd. That is something that cannot transpire here for Sean Hard if he's going to be able to stay in the ballgame for long. So a wild pitch here from Hard out of Boston College, giving it a more threatening situation for the Anglers. He's had 8 strikeouts over his first 2 outings, but he's yet to get one here. The 2-1 on the way. Fastball zips inside. It goes to 3-1. So Sean Hart having a little bit of trouble in finding the zone here. The Mariners still ahead of the Anglers 4-2 in the bottom half of the 4th. An infield single and an error scoring 2 runs. The pitch, a fastball missing high. And it's a 5-pitch walk here from Sean Hard as now first base goes occupied. Caden Kent reaching base for the first time on the night. The bases are loaded here with still none gone in the bottom of the 4th. And you have to wonder, Matt, how long and how much longer for that matter does Steve Engler go before he calls in another reliever?
Well, I think he has trust in Hard to get out of the situation. He's done it before. Certainly a difficult task he's looking down now, though.
Brings up Xavier Casserole, the Seminole State College product. Had a triple to left field back in the 3rd as he takes a strike low for strike number 1.
And with the 9-hitter in Casarilla here, Hard really needs to focus on striking.
Here's the pitch. Taken on the inner corner as it goes to 0-2.
Strikeout would be absolutely huge here, because then he can roll up a ground ball double play and get out of this inning unscathed.
Here's the 2-strike pitch, and it just goes off the outer corner for ball number 1. Yes, 12 strikeouts here for Hard. That is something he's relied upon just to get quick outs here on the season. He actually had a 9.58 ERA as the pitch goes low. It goes to 2-2 here to Xavier Casarilla. Second year member of the Mariners, and he completed his second season at Boston College with 11 earned runs allowed, 14 strikeouts, and 7 appearances. But he has a huge jam to get out of here. Now the 2-strike pitch from the right-hander, and it just goes outside. The count runs full.
And he's looked at that outside corner 3 pitches in a row here. Can't seem to grab it. Maybe looking for Casarilla to reach out and swing and miss or roll one, but
Payoff pitch from Hard, and it gets taken on the inner half for strike 3. A huge first out here on the bottom of the 4th from Sean Hard in his first inning of relief. There's one away, and the bases remain loaded here for Matt Ezel.
certainly a favorable call there for Hard. Looked like he was on the black, but Casarilla was definitely upset by the umpire's call there.
Just a second strikeout here for Mariners pitching. Etzel, in his 3rd time up here, he swings and misses for strike number 1. Struck out swinging back in the 1st. Singled to second base back in the 3rd. Huge opportunity here. The 0-1. Changeup missing the outer corner. It goes to 1-1. Mariners ahead of the Anglers 4-2 with just 1 down here in the bottom of the 4th from Veterans Field. Sean Hard trying to leave the bases stranded here. The 1-1 is fouled back as it goes to 1-2. Meanwhile, Etzel on the season, now hitting .231 out of Southern Mississippi, a League City, Texas native. He has just 1 RBI up to this point. Hard with the 1-2. Chopped foul to the right side, and the count stays there. Now you have to think that if you're Etzel, and see now goes back to the dugout to get a new bat for what it looks like. You have to think if you're Etzel here, of course you have to protect, but certainly was just a little bit too early on that one. And he has to, of course, watch the pitch as low as Hard still tries to command the corners as well.
And Hard has some great stuff. Certainly going to look to use it here.
The 1-2. Slider called looking on the upper in half.
And that is just a filthy slider. Dropped in at the last second. Nothing Etzel could do with that pitch.
Well, it's still a huge opportunity for Derek Fabian, the shortstop out of Florida. He earned a 1-out walk back in the 1st and a single to left field back in the 3rd. Hard still working quickly. The right-hander deals a first pitch swinging strike. Fabian hitting .417 on the season and was just out of Florida program that went to the College World Series final. Now the pitch from Hard. A slider swung on a missed. Now Fabian will have to protect with 2 away. Hard trying to strike out the side here for what would be a very galvanizing first inning of relief here in his latest outing on the season. Hard with the hands together. The 0-2 swung on and missed.
That's Sandy Koufax-esque.
Sean Hard, the Mahwah, New Jersey native, strikes out the side with 2 looking and 1 swinging as he gets his 3rd strikeout in his first inning relief here at Veterans Field. The Mariners keep the Anglers quiet here in the 4th as Chatham leaves the bases loaded, and it's no runs on 1 hit, no error, and 3 left stranded. 3 strikeouts for Hard in his first inning of relief, and it's the 4th here for the Mariners pitching staff tonight. A 4-2 lead for the Mariners going into the 5th inning, or rather, into the 5th inning. You're listening to Harwich Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Thanks, Courtney.
Look back at that inning and say, damn, that was big.
Oh, that's tough. Can't really see much.
No.
Make sure to check out our friends at the Black Dog Table on the concourse level behind home plate. You can get all kinds
No,
of
it's all right.
Black Dog
I understand people want to be here.
gear, including tennis balls for your dog. And they have a koozie over there, and you can enter for one of 2. We have 2 remaining $25 gift cards, and with that gift card, you also get a tote bag. So check them out.
Slow game.
Our friends over
I know. Welcome back to Veterans Field as the Mariners lead 4-2 over the Chatham Anglers. 3 runs in the 4th inning. Mason Guerra stepping up here. Single to shortstop back in the 1st and a walk in the 3rd. The first pitch he sees. Jumps inside for ball number 1. Harwich getting 3 runs in the 4th inning, leaving the bases loaded in the 1st inning of relief from Sean Hard. Meanwhile, Guerra on a 5-game hitting streak thus far. The pitch roped in a right field for a base hit. It was scorched off the bat as Guerra stops at first, and he has his second here on the ball game. The Mariners with the leadoff base runner to start the 5th.
And going back to Hard last inning, that could be an inning we look back at the end of this game and say, that won the game right there. Bases loaded, no outs. Hard gets 3 Ks in a row. Nasty slider on a couple of them.
And Guerra had the RBI single to get the Mariners on the board back in the 1st, and he has continued his prominence at the plate here as Lorenzo Carey steps up. First a pickoff attempt back over at first, unsuccessful. Carrier on the evening, a victim of a 6-4-3 ground out, singled to left field with 2 outs in the 3rd, as the Mariners left runners on the corners back then. Now the first pitch to Carrier, served out towards shallow center field, trailing in Etzel, and he doesn't make the catch as it bounces in between him and the second baseman and Maldonado, and that sends Guerra into second. The Mariners have traffic on the base pass here at the start of the 5th.
Carrier just blooped that one over the second baseman's head. Obviously known for his power, but just a little bit of finesse there to get on base.
And how about Carrier? He's been so resilient despite having issues with the strike zone at times this season. Now with his second hit on the night, Guerra has his second. And Harwich is back in business ahead 4-2. So with none gone here in the top of the 5th. Kenny Lavari stepping back up out of Old Dominion. Takes a pitch on the inner half as he was backed off. Strike number 1 here. Victim of 2 looking strikeouts here today against the starter in Seppings. Now it's Jimenez on the mound here. He's given up just an unearned run thus far. The pitch. Outside it goes to 1-1 here. The final line on Jack Seppings out of Brown University, 2 earned runs, 4 hits, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts in 3 2/3 innings as he's unable to finish out the Mariners in the 4th. Runners on 1st and 2nd here against the first reliever and Jimenez out of the pen. Pitch misses inside and low. It goes to 2-1. Well, Lavari, you certainly have to think the approach is to get on base, regardless if it's by the hit or the walk. He has been dominant in that sense over the last 5 games still, despite the hitting tapering down since the start of the season. 2-1 on the way. Slider swung on a miss. It's 2-2. Nobody out here in the top of the 5th from Veterans Field. The Mariners trying to pick up a win before they get to Brewster tomorrow. A home-and-home set there between the Mariners and the Whitecaps as they start off their weekend. The 2-2. Foul back into the screen. We'll do it again. Capacity crowd here at Veterans Field with 3,000 of capacity. Runners on 1st and 2nd here for Lavari, still with none gone. The pitch, swing and a miss. And it goes for a strikeout here. Lavari strikes out swinging. It's the 6th here for Chatham pitching as there's finally one away. That brings in Devin Obie, the center fielder out of Duke. Strikeout swinging back in the 2nd, flat out to left field in the 4th.
And that fly out in the 4th was tattooed to the warning track. See if he can replicate a little bit of that power.
Just need a little bit more wind on that one as Lavari struck out swinging. The first pitch taken high for strike 1. 4-2 lead for the Mariners here in the top of the 5th from Veterans Fields. Guerra on 2nd, Carrier on 1st. Back-to-back singles to get the Mariners started here in the 5th. The wind still blowing out to left field. The 0-1 from Jimenez. Slider swung on a miss. It goes to 0-2. Obie had a solo home run last night in the Mariners' 7-6 loss against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. It was a devastating way to go down. RBI double won it for the Harbor Hawks. They won their 2nd game against the Mariners this season. Jimenez out of the stretch, the 0-2. Sky towards the right side. It's playable in foul territory. Kent moving over towards the track. He's on the track, and he makes the catch. Over the shoulder that time was Caden Kent, the first baseman. And there are now 2 away here in the 5th as the runners stay stationed at first and second. Mariners need to be moving the runners here, Matt, and Matt Scannell coming up here. He's already been on base twice. He scored once back in a 3-run 4th inning as he tries for an extra base hit here. It seems like it's been quite a while since that happened.
Scannell only has a .213 average on the season, but he certainly has a flair for knocking in runs when there are runners on base.
First offering, bang down the left side on the ground, foul.
14 RBIs on the season. Second on the team only to Kennedy Jones.
So Lavari falls to 0 for 3. Obi falls to 0 for 3 here on the day. Guerra on second, Carrier on first. The Mariners ahead 4-2 with 2 away in the top of the 5th. Can the Harwich Mariners score here? It's up to the southpaw, Matt Scannell. The pitch, a swing and a miss. He falls down to 2 strikes here.
Like to see a little bit more of a level-headed approach from Scannell there. Seemed to throw his whole head out, whole weight out to the right. Needs to stay down on that ball and drive it up the middle for a base hit.
Biggest chance of the night here for Scannell. 2 walks already. Looking to get back on base here and drawing a run. The 2-strike pitch. Fastball swung on and missed. 7th strikeout here for Chatham as the 5th inning closes with 2 runners left, 1 in scoring position and Carrier on first. The Mariners score no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and leave 2 on in Guerra and Carrier. Mariners still lead 4-2. We're halfway home here from Veterans Field, and we're coming back here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Mariners 4, Anglers 2 going into the home half of the 5th here from Veterans Fields. Carter Trice, Nolan Schubart, and Hudson White, the 3-4-5 hitters due up here against Sean Hard, the reliever out of Boston College. Here's the first pitch. The right-hander misses low for ball number 1. Trice on the evening, flied out to left field back in the 1st, earned a walk back in the 3rd. Hard working out of the stretch immediately. The first pitch lofted high and deep out towards left field. It's going all the way back to the wall, and it's a home run for Carter Trice. A huge blast for Trice as he moves to 6 for 13 on the season, and he goes yard for the first time for the Chatham Anglers, as it's a 1-run ball game. Harwich 4, Anglers 3. It's the jolts that Chatham needed after the Mariners scored 3 runs in the 4th inning. And that brings up Nolan Schubart, the designated hitter. So Hard giving up his first run here on the night after striking out the side back in the 5th. The first pitch on the way to the left-hander taken outside for ball number 1. Solo home run to lead off the 5th here for Carter Trice. The 1-0. Breaking ball misses high. It goes to 2-0 here to Trice. Schubart up at the plate here after a solo home run from Trice. 4-3 Mariners lead over the Anglers. Here's the pitch, and it goes inside off the glove of Yu as that bent Schubart off the plate. 3-0 here. Hard striking out the side back in the fourth. That was after a 3-run start, or a 3-inning start out of Tim Noon out of Babson College. 2 earned runs, 1 strikeout. The pitch missing low, and it's a 4-pitch walk here for Nolan Schubart. He was 13 for 52 on the season. And still nobody out here for Hudson White, who was 0 for 2 on the night. Hudson White off to an 0 for 2 start here tonight. 4 hits, 3 RBIs on the season, hitting just 143, the catcher out of Texas Tech. Hard now working slower on the right side of the slab. Here's the first pitch. And it bounces in the dirt low for ball number 1. Mariners getting an RBI single in the first from Mason Guerra. Chatham scoring 2 in the third before the Mariners bought 3 in the fourth. The pitch, a fastball swung on a miss. It goes to 1-1. Mariners at 11-8 on the season, 4-5 on the road. Still have a chance here to get away with a narrow victory, but a long way to go here from Veterans Fields with baseball after dark. The 1-1 from Hard. Lofted high in the air towards the right side into shallow right field. Humphrey moving to his left from second, and instead he leaves it for Sauke, the right fielder, as there's now 1 away here in the fifth following a solo home run from Carter Trice out of NC State. So Chris Maldonado out of Vanderbilt steps back up here. Infielder out of Vanderbilt at 6'1", 190, the Short Hills, New Jersey native. Just 3 for 5 with a home run in his first couple of games this season. First pitch is tapped back up the mound. Hard tries to look at second. Instead goes on to first. The throw is too high as it gets away from Guerra at first. That sends a runner in Schubart all the way into third as he will get the stop sign. An error from Sean Hard. It's so costly that it moves not 1 but 2 runners into scoring position. Schubart on third, Maldonado on second, following the solo home run from Carter Trice as the Mariners now work with 2 runners in scoring position against Sean Hard. Lyle Miller Green out of George Mason coming back up. Still looking for his first hit here on the day. And the Mariners holding a narrow 4-3 lead. The first pitch from Hard takes a bounce outside in the dirt for ball 1. A throwing error from Sean Hard, putting more pressure on the Mariners here with just 1 out and an opportunity for Chatham to score at least 2 with a base hit. The next pitch to Miller Green, lofted high and deep out towards center field. Sprinting back to the track, Obi, he looks up, and that ball is out of here. A 3-run home run from Lyle Miller Green, the George Mason product, and the Burke, Virginia native gives Chatham the lead back as it's a 6-4 lead for the Anglers on a deep shot to right center field just past the 357 marker.
And that was something that just could not happen for Harwich tonight. After winning against Tyannis, you thought 4-2 lead here would be enough for the bullpen to maybe close it out and have 5 good innings here, but gonna have to be a show of resiliency from the Harwich lineup again.
Now the first pitch on the way to Caden Kent, and it's fouled back for strike 1. A solo home run from Carter Trice and a 3-run home run from Lyle Miller Green, giving the Anglers the lead back for the second time here tonight after 2 runs in the bottom of the third. Here's the next pitch. Slider goes well inside and low for ball number 1.
Miller Green tagged that one opposite field home run. That's tough to do here. Send it onto the hill with all the fans looking from the fire station.
1-1 inside to make it 2-1. Kent on the evening, a fly out to left field back in the second. Earned a walk back in the fourth with no outs before Sean Hard struck out the side, but he's run into trouble here. The 2-1, a fastball missing high at the letters, and it goes to 3-1.
And Hard's got to regain that composure here. 3-1 count here. Can't be walking people. Already 4 up in the inning, so need to get out of it unscathed.
3-ball pitch. Tapped foul back behind home plate. It goes to 3-2. The Mariners this season, not with the most endorsing ERA. The 6th highest ERA in the Cape Cod Baseball League at just under 4. And they've given up a certain number of home runs, it being their 7th and their 8th here in the inning. So 2 home runs, 1 solo, and a 3-run home run from Lyle Miller Green. The Anglers ahead here. The pitch. Grounded foul back behind home plate. We'll do it again at 3-2. Mariners trailing the Anglers 6-4. Still with only 1 away here in the bottom of the 5th. The lineup has not gotten a ton of help here tonight from the pitching. Now the payoff pitch, and it goes inside for ball 4. So a 1-out walk here for Caden Kent. And Sean Hart continues to struggle and just getting ahead of counts. And after striking out the side, it certainly looked like he'd established some continuity. Xavier Casarilla, meanwhile, in the 9-hole. He has only 1 hit today, but it was a triple in leadoff fashion back to start the 3rd. Here's the first pitch. A strike on the outer half. Xavier Casarilla here tonight. The triple to right field back in the 4th, rather the 3rd. Struck out looking back in the 4th. The pitch. Outside. Sean Hart has certainly found his way into quick outs with strikeouts this season, but it has been anything but easy here tonight as he's lacked strikeouts thus far. Here's the 1-1. Fastball runs high and inside. It goes to 2-1. And Sean Hart in 3 games this season with 12 strikeouts. He had that scoreless outing, his 2nd on the season in that win against Wareham at home. But here he has run into a lot of trouble thus far. The pitch, a swing and a miss. And it goes to 2-2. 1-out walk, rather 2-out walk here from Caden Kent. He's on first here. 2-2, a swing and a miss. The 4th strikeout here for Sean Hart after he struck out the side in the 4th, and there are now 2 away here in the 5th.
There's no doubt that Hart can get that strikeout when he needs it, but certainly needed a few more here today.
Matt Etzel coming back up, trying to move a runner in a scoring position. Caden Kent, the first baseman, with a 1-out walk. Pitch low and away. The throw down to second from Yu, and it's going to be just in time. Andrew Yu with another excellent gun down to second, as Caden Kent was caught stealing after the 1-out walk, and the Mariners nonetheless fall behind here to the Chatham Anglers with a 4-run inning, a solo home run, and a 3-run home run courtesy of Carter Trice and Lyle Miller Green. 4 runs in the bottom half of the 5th. The Mariners trail once again going into the 6th here at Veterans Field. We step away for a moment here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Six to 4, the Mariners trail against the Chatham Anglers. here in their second trip to Veterans Field on the season. Carter Trice with a solo home run, Lyle Miller Green out of George Mason with a 3-run home run, as Andrew Yu, Devin Hurdle, and Jacob Humphrey, the 8, 9, and 1 hitters, do up here against Aiden Jimenez. Jimenez working in his third inning of relief here. He winds and deals the first pitch, a fastball that goes high and inside and almost hit Yu, and instead it'll be ball number 1 here. Mariners getting ahead 1-0 on an RBI infield single from Mason Guerra back in the first. Chatham scoring 2 in the third. Harwich getting 3 in the fourth. But an exploding 5th inning, giving Chatham the lead again. The pitch, chapped over towards the left side. Running in Fabian, the shortstop out of Florida, fires on to first, and it's in time. Now 4 straight retired here for Jimenez out of the bullpen, and Andrew Yu is retired for the second time today.
That's the last thing you want if you're Harwich. Don't need Jimenez getting on a roll, getting in a groove here. Time when you need base runners and you need runs. It's time to get on base.
4 runs on 7 hits, 2 errors for the Mariners, 6 runs on 7 hits, 1 error for the Anglers. Now Devin Hurdle awaits on the right side as he takes it high on a fastball for ball number 1. Hurdle on the evening, struck out swinging in the second, lined out to center field in the fourth. Jimenez still working out of the stretch. The pitch, lined over to the right side, through for a base hit. Hurdle with his first single as a Harwich Mariner this season, and it comes at the 1-out mark of the 6th inning as the Mariners finally have a runner on first.
And it looks like Hurdle has almost a permanent inside-out swing, and that's a really nice swing. Really nice way to drive that ball through the first and second base gap. Sort of a fastball down the middle, but he turned on it easily.
Jacob Humphrey stepping up for the 4th time here today, 2 singles thus far. As the home plate umpire, Mickey Garcia, whips one back at the first reliever here for Chatham in Aiden Jimenez.
Maybe Harwich can use Mickey Garcia out of the bullpen.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned it. Hard striking out the side in the 4th, but ran into a lot of trouble in the 5th. Now the pitch on the way to Humphrey, taken high for a strike. 6-4, the Anglers lead over the Mariners here. Harwich visiting Veterans Field for the 2nd time in 4 days. They lost 8-1 here in Chatham on Friday night. The 1-0 to Humphrey. It goes low as the UMass Lowell product quickly gets ahead in the count here.
Humphrey had a loud fly out back in the 3rd inning. He's been hitting the ball hard lately. He's just hasn't been finding the right spots. Ball hasn't been falling for him.
Here's the pitch. Fastball missing high. It's 3-0.
Certainly take a walk, too.
Yeah, you take anything right now if you're Humphrey. Had a single to center in the 1st and a single to 3rd back in the 4th. Mariners need hits right now. They only had 4 back in their loss here at Veterans Field on Friday. 3-ball pitch, grounded over towards the left side and through for a base hit down into the left field wall, speeding past second. Hurdle, he'll be off for 3rd, and he's getting the wave around sign. Hurdle will be all the way into home, standing up on a 1-out triple from Jacob Humphrey as he picks up his 3rd hit on the evening, and the Mariners climbed back within 1. It's 6-5 here in favor of the Anglers.
Beautiful piece of hitting on the 3-0 count there. Humphrey got the green light and took advantage of it. Ripped that one down the 3rd baseline. Came in with a standing triple using that speed to his advantage.
And it's interesting that Humphrey took the hack that he did. It wasn't just a defensive hack as you would see with 2 strikes. Humphrey really charged into that one. He timed it just well, and he pulled it down the 3rd base side. And he has a 1-out triple as the Mariners trail 6-5 now. Casey Sauke digging in from the right side as time is called from home plate umpire Mickey Garcia. A solo home run from Carter Trice of NC State back in the 5th inning, and a 3-run home run from Lyle Miller Green in the same frame, giving the Mariners their 6-4 deficit. But they've cut it to 6-5 here with a 1-out RBI triple from Jacob Humphrey. At-bat has yet to get underway here for Casey Sauke. 3rd game out of Virginia, just got to the Mariners program. We'll see what Sauke can do here.
And Chatham has an interesting setup in the infield with their second baseman and shortstop back a little bit with the runner on 3rd. Typically, you have your second baseman and shortstop in on the grass with a runner on 3rd in a 1-run game like this. Kind of interesting to see that they...
3rd baseman Casarilla's not playing too shallow either. Now the pitch misses low. It goes to 2-0.
Interesting strategy from Holiday here.
It is interesting. And Chatham not exactly playing to the pole either. Middle infield is relatively open as well. Here's the 2-0. Chopped over towards the left side. Fabian fields on one bounce, fires onto first, and it is in time as the Mariners get a run to come across to score in Jacob Humphrey after the one-out RBI triple, and it's 6-6 here.
And Chatham seemed all too complacent to just allow that run to score. I mean, if they're playing in like a typical infield would be playing in that situation, you can cut Humphrey down at home there. I'm shocked that head coach Holiday would let his guys do that, but Harwich will take it.
2 runs in the 6th here as Casey Sauke is out on a 6-3. First pitch to Mason Guerra, a foul tip for strike 1. Well, the Mariners, with Brian Arndt behind the plate here on Friday night, they missed 2 tags to get the leading runner at home, and that certainly cost them as they had 4 errors on the game. Tonight they have 2. Chatham with 1 thus far. The Mariners 6, Anglers 6. The 0-1 called strike on the lower half. It goes to 0-2. Guerra on the night, reaching in each time he's been up. Single to shortstop back in the first for the RBI. A walk back in the third with 2 outs and a single to right field to lead off the 5th. Mariners in that 5th inning, all the while still left 2 in scoring, or 2 on base, I should say. The pitch tapped over towards the left side, spinning off the mound Jimenez, and he won't be able to pick it up and throw down a first in time. So an infield single here for Mason Guerra as he moves to 3 for 3 on the night, aside from the walk back in the third. And the Mariners have a chance for a 2-out rally here with Lorenzo Carrier coming back up.
Yeah, Jimenez was slow off the mound there. Seemed to do a little, almost like a twirl on the mound after he threw that pitch. Not that that would have been an easy play regardless, but certainly did not get to that ball as fast as he probably could have.
So Carrier comes back up, 2 base hits since grounding out 6-4-3 back in the first. The first pitch he sees going low and outside for ball 1. Top of the 6th, 2 away. The Mariners and the Anglers tied at 6. Mariners had the game's first lead with an RBI infield single for Mason Guerra. 1-0 misses high and inside to make it 2-0. Chatham grabbing the lead in the 3rd inning with 2 runs in the bottom of the 3rd. And Harwich had 3 runs in the 4th before Chatham scored 4 in the 5th. Solo home run and a 3-run blast. The pitch lofted foul. Back behind home plate, it goes to 2-1. Carrier has had his successes and he's had some struggles as well over the course of the season. He's been here just about 10 games with the Mariners. He was 0 for 4 in that 1-run loss to Hyannis last night. The pitch spiked back behind home plate. It goes to 2-2. He had reached base safely in 7 of his first 8 games with the Mariners this season. An RBI hit and 1 walk in that home win against Katuitt, the walk-off victory against the best team in the Cape Cod Baseball League. So certainly finding new rhythm here tonight. The 2-2. Jimenez deals it fouled back behind home plate as the count stays where it is. Carrier with the capabilities to get on base. And he's shown that here tonight. Had 2 hits against Orleans in his debut. The 2-2 foul back again.
Good fight here from Carrier, 3 fouls in a row.
It's a really good fight. Certainly has gone deep into counts at times here tonight. That single to left field back in the 3rd. Certainly going deep in that count into a payoff pitch. On first, Guerra here after a single to the pitcher. The 2-2 just goes high and the count runs full. Carrier's had tough time with the strike zone this season, but certainly showing discipline there.
Yeah, that's a tough pitch to take there. I think that certainly could have been called a strike on Carrier, who does have a 6'5" frame.
The payoff pitch, runner goes, and it's skied back behind home plate. Guerra has speed on the base pass here. He can at least get to 3rd, but with 2 outs, a hit-and-run situation is unlikely here.
Guerra will most likely be off on the pitch, full count, 2 outs. So
A base hit at least moves him into 3rd. Jimenez with the payoff pitch. Grounded over towards the left side. Bouncing ball for Fabian. Steps and fires onto first, and it's in time. So the Mariners scored 2 runs here in the 6th inning, but they're unable to stretch across any further runs as Carrier grounds out to close out the side, as the Mariners and the Anglers are tied at 6 going into the home half of the 6th here from Veterans Field. We'll step away. This is Mariners Baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube Network. Mariners and the Anglers tied at 6 here at Veterans Field. New pitcher into the ballgame in Xavier Martinez out of CSU Northridge. Martinez looking for a solid outing here. Wyatt Kopelman and Matt Skillings here with you as Martinez is set to face the middle of the order Carter Trice due up here, as well as Matt Etzel, Derek Fabian. The first pitch on the way to Etzel was a swing and a miss for strike number 1. Martinez at 6'1", 180 out of Bonita, California. He went 4-1 this past season at Cal State Northridge. As the 0-1 is taken low and outside, it goes to 1-1. Meanwhile, the final line on Sean Hard, 4 runs, 3 earned, 3 hits. The 1-1 taken low and outside. Goes to 2-1 here. 2 innings for Hard, a sophomore out of Boston College, the Mahwah, New Jersey native. 4 strikeouts, 4 walks. It was not the most endorsing start, or relief, I should say. The 2-1 line back, it goes to 2-2.
After a demoralizing inning like that, Harwich really needs a good inning out of Martinez here. Calm the waters a little bit and get back at it in the top of the 7th.
Mariners got 2 runs in the 6th, an RBI triple from Jacob Humphrey. The 2-2, serve foul to the left side. We'll do it again. Mariners have trailed twice here today, and they have taken every chance to at least get back in this one, despite Chatham having one of the worst batting averages in the Cape Cod Baseball League. Still not away, the 2-2 from Martinez. It's served over towards the left side and into the glove of Hurdle at short. So there's 1 out here in the 6th, and that's certainly the out you need if you're Martinez to get off to that right start, despite Sean Hart striking out the side back in the 4th.
Good pitch there. He got Etzel out on his front foot. Had no other option but to kind of poke that ball out to shortstop. Easy play for Hurdle to make.
Derek Fabian, the shortstop out of Florida, coming back up. First pitch on the way, missing low in a righty-righty battle here. Fabian 1 for 2 tonight with an RBI and a walk. On the season, Fabian hitting .385 as the pitch is swung on and missed, and it goes to 1-1. Fabian with a walk back in the 1st, a single to left field in the 3rd, strikeout swinging in the 4th. A 1-1. Slider just misses low. It goes to 2-1. Middle of the infield is wide open here for Fabian after Chatham got a solo home run.
That's the first. We get a 5-second delay there while a ambulance came out of the
I did see
fire
that
station.
moving from right to left. The 2-1 now taken on the lower half. It goes to 2-2. Well, the Mariners certainly need a win here tonight going into that race for the Cape Cod East Division standings. Still tied with Yarmouth Dennis at 11-8. And the 2-2 for Martinez. A swing and a miss. An excellent strikeout from Xavier Martinez. He has 2 up and 2 down here in the 6th.
That's just a great curveball. Left it in a spot where Fabian couldn't do anything with it. Got him to chase. Beautiful pitch.
Carter Trice coming back up after a solo home run back in the 5th. 4-run bottom of the 5th inning for Chatham to take the lead once again. First pitch to the NC State infielder taken low and outside for ball 1.
There's the first fireworks we've heard tonight.
We heard some crackling
Did you hear
earlier
some
on as well. We did.
firecrackers?
Well, so we see fireworks down the right field side as well, just
Oh, yeah.
behind the buildings across the outfields. The 1-0 goes low and outside away from the catcher and you. It's 2-0.
That's what you get on the 3rd of July.
That's what you got on the 3rd of July. Everyone's in the red, white, and blue spirit. Certainly a lot of red, white, and blue already to go around here at Veterans Field. The Mariners have the red and blue on as well tonight. 2-0. Fastball on the upper half. It goes to 2-1. So Trice here tonight. A little bit of a quiet start with a fly out to left field in the 1st. Walked back in the 3rd. And then hit a solo home run in the 5th. A 2-1 for Martinez. A strike as it goes off the glove of you. It's 2-2. So Martinez doing a good job of getting back in the count.
Maybe a little cross up there between Martinez and you. It's a curveball that hit Yu's glove right in the middle of the strike zone, but you bobbled it a little bit.
2 outs, nobody on. The Mariners and the Anglers tied at 6. Here from Veterans Field, the 2-2. Spiked back into the netting. Count stays there.
We saw this the other night with Carter Trice, but he chokes up a solid inch on his bat. It's an interesting stance. Seems to work for him. Had a home run tonight.
Martinez relieving hard after 2 innings out of the bullpen. The 2-2. Grounded back up the middle, over towards the left side. Hurdle moving to his left. Fires to first, and it goes off the glove of Guerra as it rolls away from him at first. Well, it'll be interesting to see how that one is scored. Might just be an E6. So it's still 6-6 between the Mariners and the Anglers here. Still a scoring decision being made here. But Nolan Schubert comes back up. And it is an error, in fact, against the shortstop and Hurdle. So second error here tonight, 2 throwing errors, and just been a little bit of a jitter sense here tonight.
I wouldn't be surprised if that error was actually charged to Guerra at first. Guerra had a good look at it. Certainly could have made that catch. It hit his glove.
Well, it is ruled an E6 here at Veterans Field. Now the runner takes off for second. Pitch misses low, and Trice reaches with a stolen base. His first here on the night as there's a runner in scoring position for Chatham. Now Nolan Schubart working with a little bit more pressure-filled situation. 2 outs, and the go-ahead run on second here in Trice. Meanwhile, Schubart here tonight, 1 for 2 with a walk back in the 5th. The pitch taken low for strike 1 here. 1-1 the count here to Schubart. Out of Oklahoma State here, looking to provide a potential game-winning hit here as the 1-1 goes high, it goes to 2-1. Trice on base for the 3rd time here today. Schubart trying to get on base for the 3rd time here today against the second reliever in Xavier Martinez, who works from the middle of the rubber. The 2-1 on the way. A swing and a miss on an off-speed pitch. Goes to 2-2. A line out to shortstop and a strikeout swinging. Getting 2 down here for Chatham. The Mariners, meanwhile, in the bottom or in the top half of the 7th, will have Kenny Lavari, Devin Obie, Matt Scannell due up here. 2 outs, a runner on second here in Trice. The 2-2. Tapped foul to the right side. So we'll do it again here. Chatham has done an excellent job of Harwich's pitchers into deep counts tonight. Meanwhile, Carter Trice with the speed that he has, certainly with an opportunity to get home with at least an RBI single, if not for a double. Martinez set at the belt, looks back at second, and the 2-2 again. A fastball runs high, goes 3-2. And that has been kind of a common theme here tonight. Every time Harwich seemed to have an advantage on particular batters in the heart of the order, it's been a change of times, if not a change of approach, that has given the Anglers the runs they've had. The payoff pitch, line over towards the left side and through for a base hit. That will send Trice around third, and he'll be scoring standing up at home. A 2-out RBI hit here for Nolan Schubart as the cleanup hitter picks up his second hit on the day, and it gives Chatham a 7-6 lead here in the sixth.
Great base hitting there in a 3-2 count. Schubart drove that to the gap between the third baseman and shortstop on the ground, but hardly hit.
Now Hudson White comes up here, looking to move another runner into scoring position. White, on the evening, has been relatively successful despite an 0-for-3 start. He has given a lot of contact, particularly loud contact, into the outfield. 2 flyouts and a line out as Martinez tries for an attempt back over at first. Chatham with the lead again at 7-6 with 2 away. First pitch lofted foul behind home plate for strike 1. Hudson White with 4 hits on the season, 9 strikeouts, hitting .138. As the pitch gets away from you, and it goes all the way to the backstop, and Schubart trots in a second here. Now another runner in scoring position for Chatham as the 2-out rally lives on. So Xavier Martinez still working out of the stretch here, already with an earned run against him in the 6th after getting 2 quick outs. Martinez set to go to USC. And the 1-1. Slider on the outer half. It goes to 1-2 here. Martinez with 4 earned runs, 3 walks, and just 2 2/3 innings in that loss against Bourne. The 1-2 misses low. It goes to 2-2. So the Mariners and the Anglers, similarly to what the Mariners did last against the Harbor Hawks, just exchanging leads here tonight. And the Mariners relief staff has not been too catering thus far. A solo home run and a 3-run home run against Sean Hard, and an RBI hit here against Martinez. 2 away, 1 on second, the 1-2. It just misses low on a slider as it goes to 2-2. Harwich trailing by 1 again here in the middle innings. Martinez looking to get out and strand a runner in second. The payoff pitch, and it misses low. A walk here for Hudson White as that keeps Schubart at second. And meanwhile, the Mariners still having trouble in getting out of innings here on the confines of Veterans Field.
This has been a problem for Harwich this season. The bullpen needs to be able to pitch their way out of this.
Now Chris Maldonado back up out of Vanderbilt here. Martinez looking back at second. The first pitch is lofted out towards right field. Sauke going back to the track. He makes the catch as the inning is over. But the Mariners fall behind again with Chatham scoring 1 run on 1 hit, 1 error, and leaving 2 on base. Schubart and White stranded. The Mariners and Martinez get out without more than 1 inning of damage. 7-6 Chatham leads going into the 7th inning here at Veterans Field. We're coming on back here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. 7-6, Chatham leads over the Harwich Mariners. Entering the 7th inning, a new reliever on the mound for the Anglers, Ben Peterson, the 6'3", 217-pound right-hander out of North Carolina of the Atlantic Coast Conference. He had 15 scoreless outings this season, faces Kenny Lavari. The first pitch, a swing and a miss for strike number 1. The final line on Aiden Jimenez out of Oklahoma State. 2 1/3 innings pitched. 3 runs, 2 of them earned, 6 hits, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. The 0-1 to Lavari set to come here. And he watches it high as it goes to 1-1. Lavari, a victim of 3 strikeouts here tonight, Matt, and certainly going to be interesting to see what he can do to, if not change his approach, just get some better swings on the ball here. The 1-1 from the right-hander, and it goes inside on a slider. It goes to 2-1 here. Lavari with 2 looking strikeouts in the first and the third before striking out swinging in the 5th. 6 runs and 10 hits, 3 errors for the Mariners, and 7 runs and 8 hits, 1 error for the Anglers. 2-1, a swing and a miss. It goes to 2-2. Lavari has found his way on base quite frequently this season. Started the season with 4 hits, but it's been more of the walks he's been able to work as of late. He had a season-high 4 walks during the Mariners' 5-game winning streak 2 weeks ago. Peterson shaking off the signs. He works out of the stretch from the first base side of the rubber. The 2-strike pitch. Grounded over towards the left side. 1 bounce for Fabian. The shortstop throws on a first, and it's in time. Lavari grounds out to shortstop to start the 7th as there's 1 away.
Good speed from Kenny there. He almost beat that throw up, but just not in time.
So Xavier Martinez, entering as a second reliever for Harwich, gave up an earned run in the 6th inning to give the Anglers their 7-6 lead. But he stranded 2 runners, 1 at first and 1 at second, as Devin Obie, the center fielder of Duke, steps in from the right side.
Now we have a fire truck and an ambulance in the background.
First pitch misses inside.
Surprised there was no delay right there, as they seem to be backing into the fire station.
The fire station has been quite busy here tonight with a capacity crowd here at Veterans Field. It's not created a distraction per se, but it's certainly created a lot of a light show outside. The 1-0 breaking ball, it misses low. It goes to 2-0.
It is fireworks season.
Extra caution taken here on Cape Cod, as certainly a lot of vacationers look to enjoy a lot of festivities on Independence Day weekend. 1 away, nobody on here for Obie. The 2-ball pitch. Sky down the left side, going to foul territory, racing over from left field. Trice, he goes to the netting, and no catch is made between him and the third baseman and Xavier Casarillo. That was very close to being the second out, as Obie stays alive in the count at 2-1.
And that was a phenomenal effort from Trice. He actually overran that ball. Seemed to maybe catch the wind up high and fall back about a foot, but he was under that ball and he just ran past it and couldn't reach back in time.
Well, Obie looking to avenge an 0-for-3 start here tonight as the Mariners trail the Anglers 7-6 here at Veterans Field. The Mariners scoring first in the first inning on an RBI single for Mason Guerra and got 3 in the 4th, 2 in the 6th, but they still trail here with Ben Peterson, the second reliever, on the mound. The 2-1 chopped foul to the left side, and it goes to 2-2.
Certainly a healthy hack from Obie there. Just missed that pitch, but would like to see him stay a little more even-keeled and drive the ball up the middle.
The 2-2. Fastball misses the outside corner as it goes to 3-2. Obie working his most disciplined at-bat of the night. Struck out swinging back in the 2nd, flat out to left field in the 4th, and just missed a solo home run and foul out to first base back in the 5th. The 3-2. Driven high and deep out towards left field. Trice moving to his right in left field, and he makes the catch as the crowd lets out a huge gasp here at Veterans Field. Didn't have as much carry as it did, as there are 2 away.
Yeah, off the bat, that looked like it may have the distance, but seemed to get caught up in the wind up high and sort of died a little bit. Easy catch for Trice.
2 down here for Matt Scannell, the Princeton outfielder, stepping in with 2 walks and a strikeout back in the 5th. Nobody on base here for Harwich, trailing the Anglers 7-6. The pitch spiked back into the netting for strike 1. 6 runs on 10 hits, 3 errors committed for the Mariners. 7 runs, 8 hits, and 1 error for the Anglers. 3 straight retired here between Peterson and the first reliever at Aiden Jimenez for Chatham's bullpen. A righty-lefty battle. The 0-1, a curveball worked just down the middle, then it goes to 0-2. Well, Scannell has worked a serious number of deep counts here tonight. Meanwhile, the bottom of the third of the Mariners' order has been pretty quiet, aside from a 1-out base hit from Devin Hurdle, the 9-hole hitter, making his debut here tonight. Peterson with the 0-2. Fastball swung on and missed. First strikeout here for Ben Peterson as he gets the Mariners down in order here in the 7th. The Mariners still trail 7-6 as they begin to run out of chances late here at Veterans Field to tie, if not take the lead. Time to stretch here in Chatham. We'll be back here on the Mariners YouTube network. The Mariners trail the Chatham Anglers 7-6 here at Veterans Field as Xavier Martinez toes the rubber for his second inning of relief as he's set to face Lyle Miller-Green, Caden Kent, and Xavier Casarillo, the lower third of the Chatham lineup. And it's a lineup that has certainly not wavered here tonight. 2 runs back in the third, 4 runs in the fifth to take 2 different leads. And the Mariners right now are starting to lack some help from their relief staff here. Sean Hard giving up a solo home run and a 3-run home run to the man here in Lyle Miller-Green out of George Mason. The first pitch he sees taken high at the letters for strike number 1. Heard a big boom from the outfield. Heard from the fireworks down the right field side here at Veterans Field. A righty-righty battle, the 0-1 missing low. It goes to 1-1. The festivities have certainly begun, and the crowd is not quite emptied out here from Veterans Field either. It is a packed house here tonight on Independence Day weekend. 1-1 for Martinez. Slider missing low. It's 2-1. So Martinez giving up an RBI single to Nolan Schubert back in the 6th with 2 outs. And that is how the Anglers have taken this 7-6 lead here. The 2-1 from the right-hander, and it goes outside on another slider. It's 3-1. Harwich relievers have fallen behind quite often on pitch counts here tonight. Martinez needing a 1-2-3 inning. 3-ball pitch on the way. Grounded over towards the left side for Hurdle, and he loses it into left field as he booted it right away. An E6 here from Devin Hurdle, and it's the Mariners' 4th error on the night as Hurdle has not been stable on the left side of the infield.
Ole, that went right through his legs.
So an error here as Miller-Green reaches safely for the 3rd time here tonight. It was initially ruled as a hit here at Veterans Field. Hurdle certainly just gave the ordinary effort, and it didn't seem as if that was an unfieldable play.
I mean, it was a slow ground ball that went right through his legs.
He was well positioned as well. Ordinary effort would have made the play.
As much as you always want to give credit to the fielders for putting in effort, I mean, that's a pretty clear-cut error in my opinion.
So Miller-Green with a 3-run home run back in the 6th as he's now back on base here with Caden Kent stepping in. He lays down a bunt to the left side. It stays fair. picking up the ball. Lavari doesn't make a throw down to first. Instead tries to go to second on a back pick. And instead, Lyle Miller Green will still be safe. So another bunt here from the Chatham Anglers. And that moves runners on base here to set up Xavier Casarella, the third baseman. And instead, it'll be a pinch hitter here in Donahue.
It's a great bunt there from Kent. Simply nothing Kenny Lavari, Martinez, or you could do perfectly down the line.
Bunt single here has Caden Donahue up in a pinch hitting situation. The first pitch, a bunt tried, and it goes low for ball number 1. Casarella's night closing 1 for 3, an RBI triple, or rather a leadoff triple to right field back in the third. Strikeout looking and a strikeout swinging. The 1-0. A bunt missing the outer half as it goes to 2-0. Miller Green on second after the bunt single. Lavari tried to field, but didn't throw down to first. Mariners have been costing themselves with some infield mistakes once again here tonight as they did Friday night, as Steve Englert will now go out to have a word with Xavier Martinez. One warming up for Harwich down the right field side, as Steve Englert has yet to give the sign here for a pitching change. Meanwhile, for Harwich, Martinez going an inning plus here. He's yet to get an out here in the 7th, as Miller Green is on second, Caden Kent on first on the bunt single. And it has been a very difficult night for the Mariners fielding once again here tonight. And the Mariners, as a matter of fact, their pitching has only faced the minimum once. It was back in the 2nd, in which a caught steal attempt on Chris Maldonado and 2 flyouts gave the Mariners a little bit of ease moving in the early innings. But the Anglers have had sufficient answers here tonight after the Mariners have taken the lead twice. They had a 1-0 lead going into the 3rd and a 4-2 lead going into the 5th. Extra base hits, home runs, and singles have really given Chatham a lot tonight. Now the next pitch outside on a bunt attempt again shown from Casarella. It's 3-0.
It's a big moment here for Martinez to lock in and get this count into a more favorable position.
3-ball pitch from Martinez, and it misses low for a 4-pitch walk. Martinez has not been able to command the corners here tonight. And still with none away, the bases are loaded here to flip the lineup card for Matt Etzel. And even for Etzel, he has that single to second base back in the 3rd. He hasn't been too successful, but anything to leave the infield draws in at least 2 runs. Etzel out of Southern Miss. The center fielder striking out twice here tonight, aside from an infield single and a line out to the shortstop in Devin Hurdle. An opportunity to stretch the lead here for Chatham as he fouls one to the left side.
Make or break situation here for the Mariners. Certainly still well within reach, just a 1-run game, but on the brink of collapsing here.
It's do or die time here for Xavier Martinez, the right-hander of USC. The 0-1 jammed all the way out towards right field, and it's in front of the wall for a base hit. One will score, and Lyle Miller Green. Right behind him is Caden Kent, as it's a 2-run double here for Matt Etzel. The center fielder moves a runner into 3rd in Casarilla, and the Anglers take a 9-6 lead here in the 7th.
And that ball was tagged, ripped down the right field line. Almost looked like Saki was playing a little bit towards center field, and not that he would have had a chance at that anyway, but that ball one-hopped the fence, and easy double for Etzel. Easy 2 runs.
2-run double, and the Mariners trail by 3 here after Sean Hard gave up a solo home run and a 3-run home run to put the Mariners behind. Here's the first pitch, and it goes outside here to Derek Fabian. A swing and a miss here to Fabian as it goes to 1-1. Mariners behind the Anglers 9-6. They trail for the 4th time here tonight. Meanwhile, Fabian, the shortstop out of Florida, with a hit back in the 3rd inning and a strikeout swinging in the 4th and the 6th, as he now has a couple of words here with Chatham's hitting coach So the Mariners right now in position to at least try for a come-from-behind victory going into the 8th and 9th innings. Fabian coming up here with still none away. 2-run double from Matt Etzel, giving the Anglers another 3-run lead here. The 1-1. Fabian watches a slider low and outside. It goes to 2-1. And the Mariners have certainly not been efficient with their pitching against a team with one of the lowest hitting averages in the Cape Cod Baseball League. A 2-1 from Martinez, and it misses low, and he's mad at himself on the mound. Certainly the body language is lacking right now in the wrong direction. Well, if you're just joining us, the Mariners not getting more of a start of 3 innings out of Tim Noon. Gave up the game's first 2 earned runs for Chatham. 3-1, golfed foul to the right side. It goes to 3-2. So Martinez, despite falling behind another count here, just trying to battle back and see what he can do, if not to get a strikeout, just to get a ground ball. Runners on second and third here. Etzel on second, Donahue on third.
Surprising to see the English have such a poor record this year with the way they've played Harwich.
The Anglers have given the Mariners a good deal for what they've proven. 3-2 goes low. And it's another walk here as Fabian collects his second walk of the day. And the bases go loaded again, still with none gone against Xavier Martinez, the second reliever. Now the left fielder in Carter Trice comes up here on the evening with an 1-for-2 night. Fly out to left field back in the first, and a solo home run to left field in the fifth. First pitch, a swing and a miss for strike one. Anglers ahead 9-6 here with runners on the bases here. The bases loaded here against Xavier Martinez. He gave up just 1 run, an RBI double, or an RBI single from Nolan Schubert back in the sixth, as the 0-1 misses low. 1-1 here to Trice. A 1-1 for Martinez. Grounded over towards the left side. Hurdle on the grab at short. Fires on a second for one. The throw on to first, and it's in time. But a run comes across to score in Donahue, as the Mariners now trail 10-6 here in the 8th.
It's a great double play turn right there. Hurdle with a great play to range a little bit to his right, make a good throw to second, and Humphrey with a dot to first. Give up a run on the play, but take the 2 outs in the inning.
6-4-3 double play, the second from both sides here tonight. So Trice with a 4-6-3 double play as Fabian is out at second, Etzel into third. Here's a swing and a miss from Nolan Schubart for strike one. Mariners trailing 10-6 now in the bottom of the 7th inning. 2 outs, a runner on third against Xavier Martinez, the right-hander out of USC. The 0-1, he misses low. Schubart here on the night. 2 singles to left field, a ground out to the shortstop and Hurdle, and a walk back in the 5th. The 1-1. Misses low on a slider, 2-1.
It's time to lock in here for Xavier Martinez. He's got to find the zone here.
Yep, has to find the zone. Has given up a good deal of walks already here for Harwich. 3 walks already for the right-hander. The 2-1, a swing and a miss. Now it's 2-2. And if he throws strikes like that, he's certainly going to be able to find quicker outs here.
Yeah, it's a good pitch right there.
It's a good pitch. 6 strikeouts entering tonight. He had 4 earned runs allowed with 3 walks in 2 2/3 innings in that loss against Bourne as he tries to keep Chatham to more of a limit here. The 2-2, line back to the screen. Runner on third, Etzel here on a 4-6-3 double play to get 2 on the board here for the reliever in Xavier Martinez. Mariners trailing 10-6 here against Chatham. 21 combined hits. A 2-strike pitch. Breaking ball down the middle, and it goes called looking. Schubart goes down on strikes here for the first time tonight as the Mariners leave the 7th inning with 3 runs against Xavier Martinez out of USC. 3 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base for the Anglers as they take a 10-6 lead going into the 8th inning. We'll step away. This is Harwich Mariners baseball on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. The Harwich Mariners trailing 10-6 against the Chatham Anglers here at Veterans Field. Andrew Yu, Devin Hurdle, and Jacob Humphrey due up in the 8th inning here. The Mariners need runs, and they need them fast. 6 runs on 10 hits, 3 errors committed for Harwich, 10 runs on 11 hits, 1 error for the Chatham Anglers here. Ben Peterson out of North Carolina back on the mound. The right-hander deals the first pitch on the inner half for strike number 1 here to Yu. Yu, the catcher out of Duke. 0 for 2 here tonight with a strikeout looking back in the 2nd, a walk in the 4th, and a ground out to the shortstop in Fabian back in the 6th. Here's the 0-1. Lofted out towards right field. It's dropping quickly, and it goes into the glove of Miller Green. A line out here for Yu and a loud first out here in the 8th as the Mariners are down to their final 5 chances. And that's kind of how it's gone here tonight. Matt, you have now 5 straight retired here by Ben Peterson, the second reliever, and Aiden Jimenez. And Chatham has had everything that Harwich has not had out of its relievers. Sean Hard and Xavier Martinez combining for 5 earned runs thus far.
Yeah, just too many lapses in the Harwich lineup.
First pitch to Devin Hurdle, tapped foul to the left side.
Too many times where, as you said, 5 straight retired here. There was a string of 4 straight a couple innings ago. The problem is when you don't get that consistent offense, it's tough to win. And they haven't tacked on runs when they should.
1 down here for Hurdle, the 0-1. Slider goes high and away. It's 1-1. Well, the Mariners, even against one of the more struggling teams in the Cape Cod League, let alone the Cape Cod East Division, have certainly been forced to not play down to competition this season. They've had a lot of reason just to not look past any particular game as the 0-1, or the 1-1 goes high and inside. It's 2-1. So 1 out here in the top of the 8th. The Mariners trailing by 4. They've had the hits here tonight, but that lineup has not gotten a lot of support from the relief staff thus far. With 2-1 from Peterson. Slider grounded to the left side foul. Now it's 2-2 to Hurdle. Strikeout swinging back in the 2nd, a line out to center field in the 4th, and a single to right field in the 6th. Came around to score on an RBI triple from Jacob Humphrey as the Mariners scored 2 runs in the 6th. Peterson ready at the belt, the 2-2. Fastball just misses the inner half as it bent Turtle off the plate. So the count runs full here to the Nebraska Omaha product.
Certainly could have been a strike there. Seemed to cross the plane. Right in the inner corner of the strike zone.
The payoff pitch Tapped up back over the mound, over the glove of Peterson, and back across the glove of Maldonado as it goes into right field. So a one-out single here from Devin Hurdle, and it's ruled a hit. So the Mariners now with their 11th hit on the night, and that breaks a streak of 5 retired against Chatham pitching. Well, it seemed as if Maldonado was at least going to be able to back up Peterson as it just trailed to the left of his glove. The right-hander was moving to his left off the mound. And instead, it's an infield single here for Devin Hurdle as he moves to 2 for 4 on the evening. Now the first pitch to Jacob Humphrey, a fastball swung on and missed for strike 1.
And we get to the top of the lineup where Humphrey, Saki, and Guerra are a combined 8 for 11. You can tag Carrier on there and make it 10 for 15 if you want.
Carrier's had a really strong, resounding night as well. It's the 0-1, a fastball inside, and it goes to 1-1. Well, the Mariners need runs. They have a runner on first here in Devin Hurdle with one away in the top of the 8th, trailing Chatham 10-6. The 1-1, a called strike in the lower inside corner as it goes to 1-2. Humphrey with single to center field back in the top of the first. Fly out to center field in the third, single to third in the fourth, and an RBI triple to left field in the 6th inning. Peterson with the 1-2. Called looking on the inner half. A breaking ball just got the inner side of the strike zone as Humphrey gets down on strikes for the first time here tonight.
And Humphrey's going to want that one back. Certainly not down the middle, but definitely a strike and definitely not a pitch to take in a 1-2 count.
Mariners have trailed 3 times here tonight after taking a 1-0 lead in the first inning. Chatham with 2 runs in the third, 4 runs in the 5th, and 3 runs in the 7th as Casey Sauke steps up for the 5th time here today. The first pitch from Peterson, foul back to the netting, and it goes to 0-1 here to the Rochester, New York native. Sauke on the evening, 2 for 4, single to right field and a single to third base back in the 4th. Was caught stealing, however. Runner on first, 2 outs here for Sauke. Just got to Harwich 2 days ago as the 0-1. A slider clips the inner half. It goes to 0-2. Sauke kind of bent his head out of the way, not expecting for a strike to be called, as the Mariners trail 10-6 here against the Anglers with 22 combined hits here tonight, and it's nearing a single-game high for the Mariners. Peterson out of North Carolina. The right-hander from the middle of the rubber has the signs, and he deals a 2-strike pitch as it's golfed foul behind home plate. We'll do it again. Baseball after dark here at Veterans Fields. The Mariners looking for a come-from-behind win after losing 7-6 last night in a very similar game in which they trailed 3 times before an RBI double beat them in the 8th inning. They did not have an answer late, and they need a 4-run answer right now, I should say. 0-2 swung on and missed as Sauke also goes down on strikes for the first time here tonight. 10 strikeouts here for Chatham pitching as the Mariners score no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and leave 1 on base in Hurdle. Harwich trailing by 4, and they'll have 3 chances to do it before they go down without a win here from Veterans Field. First, it's the bottom of the 8th coming up here as the Anglers look to tack on extra insurance ones. We'll be back in a moment here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. Bottom of the 8th here from Veterans Field as the Mariners trail the Chatham Anglers 10-6. Wyatt Kopelman and Matt Skillings here with you on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. A new pitcher into the ballgame here for Harwich in Chandler Marsh, the right-hander at 6'4", 228 out of Georgia. Here's the first pitch on the way, and it's taken for a strike on the inner half to Hudson White, the catcher out of Texas Tech. Marsh, the rising third-year sophomore at Georgia. The pitch, a swing and a miss. He's working quickly. It's 0-2. Marsh with a third inning at Falmouth, second scoreless appearance, season-high 3 strikeouts as he looks for a 1-2-3 inning here. The 0-2. Breaking ball misses low, and it almost got away from you as it goes to 1-2. The Mariners trailing the Anglers 10-6, 11 hits for either side, but the Mariners have had their blunders again in the infield tonight with 3 errors. Marsh tries another 2-strike pitch, and it bounces off the glove of you as it's 2-2. Marsh on the season, Matt, with a 4.91 ERA. He started to lose command at times this season. The third reliever out of the bullpen here tonight. He's gone 28 innings at Georgia this past season with 46 strikeouts and 28 walks. Now the count full here with none away. Here it comes, and it's a fastball inside. So now the count full here to Hudson White. Started off 0 for 3 tonight. 2 flyouts and a line out to center field. The payoff pitch served out towards center field, moving in Obi as the Duke outfielder makes the catch for the first out here in the 8th inning. So Hudson White falling to 1 for 5 on the evening. And meanwhile, the final line on Xavier Martinez out of USC, the second reliever from the Harwich bullpen. 2 innings, 3 earned runs, 4 runs, 4 hits, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Fly out to center field here to start the 8th inning for the Anglers. Chris Maldonado up here as the Vanderbilt product watches a slider high for strike number 1. So the Mariners relief staff has not been at its best here tonight. It's had long stretches of scoreless relief this season. The 0-1 missing the outer half as it goes to 1-1. Maldonado, meanwhile, providing a little bit of a spark here towards the bottom of the Chatham lineup. Marsh working quickly out of the windup, the 1-1. Banged foul back into the netting. It's 1-2.
Good job by Marsh to get his leader. Getting 2 outs quick would be huge. Obviously still down 4 runs, but a good inning from Marsh here gives a little bit of momentum heading into the 9th.
1-2, a swing and a miss as Marsh picks up his first strikeout in his latest relief outing on the season. 8th strikeout here for the Harwich pitching staff. And that brings up Lyre Miller-Green, who's been a threat here tonight. A 3-run home run back in the 5th inning. A huge chance here to get on base before the Mariners come back up in the top of the 9th inning for their last licks. Marsh with the first pitch. Miller-Green slams it back into the net for strike number 1. 4th of July is here, and as I say that, the boom goes out once again here in the parking lot at Veterans Field. Gosh, talk about timing. 2 away here in the bottom of the 8th. The Mariners behind 10-6. A swing and a miss here, and it's 0-2 here to Miller-Green. We've seen the fire trucks moving in and out of the fire station out in right center field from Veterans Field. Long after dark here, have to make sure you draw in caution on a holiday weekend. The 2-strike pitch, fastball runs inside the letters. It goes to 1-2. So Marsh still trying for a 1-2-3 job here in the 8th in his first inning of relief. He has a flyout and a strikeout here to start. Marsh winds with the 1-2. Breaking ball down the middle as it gets called looking. 2 strikeouts and a flyout here for Marsh, the right-hander out of Wellington, Florida, getting the Anglers down in order to close out the 8th inning. But the Mariners still trail 10-6, and they'll have 3 chances to get into a tie, if not take the lead, in the 9th inning here at Veterans Field. We're long after dark here on the holiday weekend as the Mariners trail 10-6, and we'll be back with more on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. 10-6, the Mariners trail against the Chatham Anglers here at Veterans Field. The floodlights are on. The sun has well set here on this Monday night. Holiday weekend with the 4th of July tomorrow. A packed crowd has begun to make its way out of here in Chatham, Massachusetts. Mason Guerra, Lorenzo Carrier, Kenny Lavari due up as the Mariners are behind the Anglers 10-6. 11 hits apiece thus far. Ben Peterson out of North Carolina winds and deals the first pitch. A fastball missing high and inside for ball number 1. Peterson here in his 3rd inning of relief, and he's only faced 7 batters thus far. 3 strikeouts already. The 1-0. Lofted high down the right field line as it rolls into foul territory, and it clears the trees. 1-1 here to Guerra, the Oregon State product and native of Beaverton, Oregon. A single to shortstop back in the 1st, a walk in the 3rd, a single to right field to start the 5th, and a single to the pitcher and Jimenez back in the 6th. Mariners have had their hitting here tonight, but it's just a matter of how that's backed up on the mound. The 1-1 to Guerra. Slider watched that down the pipe as it goes to 1-2. Mariners have had 3 different leads in the ball game, but Chatham has answered and taken the lead as well each of those times as it leads 10-6 on Harwich. The 1-2. Slider swung on and missed. Guerra goes down on strikes for the first time here tonight, and it's 3 straight strikeouts by the North Carolina right-hander and Ben Peterson. And Peterson has just worked with such efficacy thus far, and he's certainly not fallen behind in counts, and right now he has the chance for a second 1-2-3 job. He entered in the top of the 7th. Got a strikeout, a flyout, and a ground out. First pitch, Lorenzo Carrier watched out low for ball number 1. It's just a mix of fly ball contact, ground ball contact, and strikeouts here tonight. 11 strikeouts for the Mariners lineup that has made the Chatham lineup look like a much better pitching team than what it's been for most of the season. The 1-0. Looped out and towards left center field, running back Etzel, the Southern Miss product, makes the catch on the run towards the warning track as they're 2 away, and the Harwich Mariners are down to their final chance here in the 9th.
Carrier got a good piece of that one, but ultimately hung up just a little bit too long.
And it seemed to hang for about a half second as well. It wasn't the hardest hit ball you have seen from Lorenzo Carrier this season. I mean, the 2-run double, the throw-in home run in his debut against the Orleans Firebirds at Eldridge Park certainly seemed as if Carrier was just missing a little bit of drive on that one. So now 2 down here for Kenny Lavari. The Mariners with their final chance. The first pitch to Lavari, sky down towards left field. It's in fair territory for the left fielder and Trice as he makes the catch leaning under at the chalk as the Mariners drop it 10-6 on the road against the Chatham Anglers, and they fall to 11-9 on the season. For the Mariners, it was not only 9 straight retired, but an excellent start out of Spellings for Chatham out of Brown University. He passed it off to Aiden Jimenez, and after that, it was Ben Peterson as he pitched the final 3 innings and did not allow a single base runner. So Harwich falls 10-6 as we welcome you here into the Harwich Mariners post-game show on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network. And Matt, it seemed as if the Mariners had enough scoring prowess early on. They had 4 runs through the first 4 innings, and aside from facing a struggling pitching staff this season that has seen a lot of shift and a lot of particular names going in and out of the Chatham organization, the Mariners had it from the lineup, but just got not enough support from their support staff tonight.
Yeah, it was just similar to Hyannis last night. The offense was there. Not consistently throughout the game, but 6 runs has got to be enough to win you some baseball games. Hasn't been the last 2 nights, so time to reevaluate and facing a good Brewster team tomorrow, so the pitching's got to show up.
The Mariners falling 10-6 here, 6 runs on 11 hits, 3 errors for Harwich, and 10 runs on 11 hits, and only 1 error for the Chatham Anglers. They move to 6-13-1, and now only 5 games out of first place in the Cape Cod East Division standings. The Mariners now a game behind of Yarmouth Dennis for first place in the division, and certainly not the most endorsing record for longtime head coach Tom Holliday, but he only used 2 different pitchers out of the bullpen, and he got a relatively decent start out of Jack Seppings out of Brown. So not to say that it was the best pitching night, but also to figure that a win is a win when your team is on a relatively low mark of the season.
Yeah, their pitching was good tonight, and they did enough to get, what they needed. Like we said, they had a lot of stretches where they were retiring 4, 5, 6 batters in a row, and when that happens, you're probably going to be pretty successful.
Ben Peterson, the right-hander out of North Carolina, he pitched the final 3 innings. He gets the win on the season. And meanwhile, for Harwich, the loss going to Xavier Martinez after a huge inning in the 7th inning from the Chatham Anglers. They had 4 runs in the 5th inning on a solo home run and a 3-run home run from Lyle Miller Green. The solo bomb coming from Carter Trice. The 3 runs in the 7th, meanwhile, giving Chatham its final lead on the ball game as it led 4 different times and ultimately beat the high-scoring Harwich Mariners 10-6. The final here from Chatham, as we wish you a very happy rest of your 4th of July weekend. The Mariners will be back on the road for one final road game of this 3-game road trip tomorrow, going over to Brewster, Massachusetts, take on the Brewster Whitecaps for the 2nd time this season before returning home to White House Field, take on the Brewster Whitecaps on Wednesday afternoon. But that will just about do it here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network and for the Harwich Mariners post-game show. One final time, your score, the Mariners falling 10-6 here as they move to 4-6 on the road this season and 11-9 overall in the 20th year head coach Steve Englert's season. For my broadcast partner, Matt Skillings, and for our stand-in producer, Courtney Robinson, the rest of our Mariners media team, I'm Wyatt Kopelman saying so long here from Veterans Field. The Mariners fall 10-6 here on the Harwich Mariners YouTube network.